had some kind of speech, where he was talking about something when he was a kid, and he said he was like a pool guy or something like that, and there was this big dude named Corn Pop, and he'd come into the pool and like cause everyone problems, and he was like giving Joe shit. He's like, piece of shit, fine. You better make me come out. And he says, I got a chain, and I went outside. I beat the shit out of him. He said it was just Corn Pop was a bad dude, and like the news that came out of it was just like Joe Biden and cornrows saying Corn Pop was a bad dude. Amazing. That's everything Corn Pop.
Like there's Matt Austin. He's in our Discord pretty frequently. He's like the meme lord on Twitter. He shared. I love Matt. Yeah, he's a good dude. You know, and he shared a meme today, and it was something like along the lines of like, you know, I criticized Clinton, I criticized Bush, I criticized Trump, and I'm going to criticize Biden. And I'm like, man, won't that? And then, you know, there's, you know, because we shouldn't worship our figureheads or whatever. And I'm like, before we even get to the punchline, I'm like, man, won't that be good again? I can't wait to go back to being the despot that I truly am, because like I'm that like fight the power, like get mad at everything, and I'm like, it's no fun with like an actual Nazi. Like that's
the exaggerations just don't meet
reality. Yeah, the memes don't, like, they're just depressing. It's
not a meme, it's real life,
right?
At that point. Like,
yeah.
What happens to parody when it becomes reality? Like, it's not fun anymore.
Right, exactly. So I can't wait to, and I can't wait to go back to where like I could get, you know, like where there is some parody and satire again, where we're in, because satire is fucking dead right now, and I'm like, man, my favorite type of humor, like black comedy and satire and like gallows humor, they're just not funny right now. They make me depressed.
This is true.
Well, it's dead because they're real life now. Like, it's not supposed to be. I'm not supposed to live in the Hunger Games, for Christ's sake. Like, when did it turn into the 40K universe? Like,
I don't fucking
go into warp anymore.
Make a joke about how bad things are when they're really that bad.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and that's where like some of the memes have been great, but it's like it's the different type of laughter where you just like go, yeah, like, you know, like that
an anger laughter. Like, fuck, I know, you're right.
Kicker, I can't wait to hate my president a normal amount. And that is called bipartisanship, folks. Like, no, just you tell the Corn Pop story. I got to tell the best speech ever given, because Joe Biden has a stammer, he has a like a stutter. It's a speech problem. He's a speech impediment. He's worked through it, right? Which is, you know, kind of cool. Like, but like he's also super prone to gaffes, which is beside the point. And I'll never forget. Was it the Deepwater Horizon, the oil spill or whatever it was? And he goes, "This is a big fucking deal." Like, and I'm just like, oh, like I can't wait, because he was just the kooky, weird VP who's like a little too handsy with people. It was like, and like,
he was an awkward uncle. And it was okay. Like, it was okay. It was okay.
Is certainly better than grab him by the like, oh man.
I'll take awkward uncle over shitty Mussolini. Like, come on, man.
Failed Mussolini. Let's just not even shitty, just failed.
Like when you suck more than the guy that got hung by meat hooks. Come on, man.
God damn it.
Like, what am I supposed to do? Jesus Christ, I didn't think fighting fascism was going to be looking at a dude that's covered in spray tan. Like, come on. At what point, it's 2020. If you're losing your hair, shave it. Like, just take it off. There's so many things, and that's the problem. There's so many things I want to make fun of Trump about, but they're like base level. He's actually a shitty person for things I make fun of him about.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be a shitty person that makes fun of shitty things, like, oh, look at his fucking hair. No, I have to actually like read up on the 14 points of fascism from Umberto Eco. Like, I didn't think I was going to become a fucking political analyst just to understand politics right now.
Something nice come back to simpler times.
Yeah. Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
I used to just look at dick jokes all the time, and now I got to understand like the impeachment process. I was watching CNN. I've never watched CNN in my fucking life. This is what they've done to me.
I watched the House Committee discuss it. Why am I here? What the fuck?
Can I say one thing? I will vote. I don't give a shit who it is. I will vote for any single senator or whatever, specifically for this, because at one point in time when they said, well, I yield 30 seconds to so-and-so, the rightful guy, whatever, I just wanted them to go up and say, Trump sucks dicks, and then I yield my time and sit back down.
I mean, that kind of happened. I can't remember. It was one of the senators, like, he just mic dropped amazingly. Yeah. So that was there.
Yeah, there was a couple of good ones, but I just want that direct, like, yo, this guy fucking sucks. And then that's it.
Well, that might be one of the better cold opens in the history of RantCast. I see chat gangs here. We got Sajil, who I believe is with your crew, isn't he?
Yes. Sajil's awesome. I'm in a D&D campaign with him right now. So
Necrolepsy, resubbing for 16 years, saying bring back boring politics. I agree.
100%.
I gotta ask, do you say years on purpose?
Yes.
Or are you misreading? Okay.
Yeah.
I've always meant to ask, but I've never been on the show to ask, so I'm waiting.
It's always there's a couple lowbrow jokes, and it just in Twitch culture, and one of them is instead of months saying years. It became like dystopian
time after a while. Then.
Right, but it became dystopian when 2020 was meaningless, like when time just completely unraveled itself in front of my face, because I've streamed about 7 years. I've been affiliate since I was one of the first affiliate, when they opened that program up. So I've been affiliate I think 4 years or so, and so like the whole 4 years thing, ha ha ha, but then it became sad because I truly lost track of what all time meant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I've just always wondered that.
Yeah. Now you know how the sausage is made. It's that one. Biddies or beets, like Haywo says, the beets. It's biddies or beets. Those are also two that go around on.
Is that like a tits thing?
No. It's just it's the opposite. But now, because
like a tits.
I mean, they're already called bits. It's one letter off.
Kinda...
Yeah. Jill's got the Kirby with a knife. This is going to be a good episode. We got a great episode of AOS RantCast for you tonight. You can already tell it's all just completely unleashed. This is episode 81. I am, of course, the magical Mr. Mephisto, the most dangerous man in Age of Sigmar, and I'm joined tonight by Jared of the Owen 5 podcast and the Basement Wargamers out of Pennsylvania, and Chat Gang's own Chaos Lord Mars, the thorn in my side in Among Us, and recent addition to the content creator circuit here. You've just put up a video on YouTube under Takeovermars on YouTube. So welcome, to your mid-30s, I assume, when you start making a podcast.
I'm a little early on it, but I'm pretty close.
The midlife crisis of millennials is just you start a podcast in your 30s. Like, that's the joke.
No one can buy a Ferrari anymore. Jesus Christ.
Recording equipment going good.
It's kind of hard to get a sports car when you're borderline on food stamps.
Oh,
like all I have is to talk at a microphone and stare at a camera. That's it. That's all I have anymore.
Dude,
I got things I need to say, and I'm just putting it out there now.
Yeah, that hurts. That hurts so good, though. I tell you, I bought my house. It'll be a year ago. Next month, I think, is when we started that process, right? And the first thing I did was take photos of me eating fucking avocado toast in the house I bought. Like the first fucking just snide millennial humor, just like, oh, so good. Like I've never eaten avocado toast until now, which is why I could afford this house. Delicious.
So what's the first thing that's broken in your house? It's been a year, and probably at least a couple of things have to have busted.
Okay, so the first thing that broke was a plumbing issue. But there was like a latent there was a latent leak in the ceiling that we didn't know about. So the rubber roof is brand new, but when they put on the rubber roof, they just threw on new rubber roof and they didn't like do anything with the roof itself. So there's just a freaking hole. If you go up there and you like you can feel where it's just like there's nothing under the rubber. And so
yeah, I got one of those. So you get leaks and shit. Yeah.
Didn't discover it until the first big rainfall though. But like we had the plumbing issue before then, so it was like but the plumbing we took care of, like that wasn't the worst problem. We just couldn't use our kitchen sink for a while cuz like landlords, you call the landlord and they kind of have to come and deal with the thing. It's like in this case, like I am the landlord and I'm very lazy, which is why I know landlords are pieces of shit. Because if the tenants weren't me and my family, oh man, I would have like taken 3 months to fix that.
Oh yeah. We've been in our house for.
Oh, by the way, I got to up your rent though to afford the. I got to up the rent though real quick to afford the plumbing issue you caused, stinky tenant.
we got our house about 9 years ago, and within the first year or two, our windows were too old. They were single pane, so they said, "Oh, in order to keep the heat in, you got to change your windows." So we got all our windows replaced. So we got new nice windows, and in getting new nice windows, my brother-in-law came over to check our. We have an oil heater downstairs, and found out that it hadn't been like, it was made in 1911 or some bullshit. So it was leaking out methane. So because the windows were so shitty, it would air out all the bad shit. But since we replaced the windows and it was actually keeping things in, now we might just die in our sleep instead. So we had to get a new oil burner instead, like within the first year or two.
Amazing.
So, yeah, welcome to homeowning. It doesn't get better. It's terrible. All of it's terrible.
I mean,
You're not telling me I'm buying the house idea at all.
The reason I bought a house, if I can go into my mentality here, Mars, to try to bring you back to the gray side of the force here, that is home ownership. It was.
I'm 100% Sith on this.
You're like, I would be if I were a landlord. Like if I just owned a second property.
Terrible.
Like, anyway.
I mean,
no, it was.
The first thing I need to do if I buy a house, I'm super paranoid. I need to get bulletproof windows because my thought process: as soon as I buy a house, my luck is someone's gonna break in and murder me, so I don't get to enjoy any of it.
That's an insane amount.
I'm gonna be murdered.
That's an amazing amount of paranoia.
I'm not going to make fun of you for that because mine are 2 grades below bulletproof.
No, I instantly became the thermostat dad. Instantly happened when I bought. It just instantly like a spider sense. I could sense when there was a disturbance in the thermostat. I'm like, who turned it above 60? Like, do you know how? Like, and it's weird because like when I'm renting, it's still the same fucking money like that I'm spending, but now I'm paranoid about it.
Electric bill going to you.
It went to me before. It went to me before too.
But still, just knowing there's nothing you can do or go, like they're gonna come get you now.
Yeah, well, that's that's the thing. Is like,
in a cave.
Like I was never a bad tenant, but I always had the option to, if I really wanted to just trash the place and leave. You know, like just.
I don't got is out the door now.
And you just. And I think this speaks a lot to human psychology because you need that illusion of freedom. Like you simply need it, even though you really don't have that freedom. You need that illusion of freedom that, like, if I wanted to, I could trash this place because just that slight amount of like I'm free if I want to be keeps you from feeling as trapped as you truly are. And once you're a homeowner, you are trapped. But again, I'm going to try to make this a little bit better. It costs so much less for me to own this house than I was renting, and that was unacceptable. Like I was looking at like this motherfucker's mortgage is $300 on the place we were renting, and he's charging me $1,200. Like
that's less than my mortgage. Like that's ridiculous.
Sheboygan has famously good homeowner costs, like nationally, like because nobody wants to fucking live here. It's all old people and like racists.
That's fair. Dude, I can say the first thing I went from when I went from an apartment to a house, the first thing, and I don't know if anyone else's mindset was like this, was I'm gonna put so many fucking pictures up since I can actually like do whatever I want on the walls.
I see you have literal hammers and swords in your wall.
Oh yes.
Is that a fucking hacksaw too on the door? Like
on the door? Oh no, that's two like Renaissance fair swords.
Oh, okay.
And a las gun. And a las gun.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's a las gun. That right in case the Tyranids invade. You gotta have the
Hey,
las.
man.
I might I'm
That's my
realizing I might
Second
be a
Amendment
bad
right.
tenant.
I'm sorry, Mars. What?
I just
Sorry.
realized I might be a bad tenant because I just put shit all over the walls. I'm like, fuck it. What are we gonna do?
Take your security deposit anyway, because they always find a way to fucking take it.
Well, no, like
I was
so
worried
I've
about
been,
the security deposit.
I've been in this apartment for 2 years, and for the 2 years, my roof in the living room has been leaking, and in one of the rooms, it leaks from the bottom up. And they just now started to fix it. So I'm like, I'm not getting the deposit back anyways because of their laziness. Whoa, fuck them. Do whatever I want.
See, that's the freedom right there. That right there. It's super liberating. When you walk around, there's just extra anxiety at all times. The thought isn't that I'm spending extra money on heat if the heat is up too high. It's that I might run out the furnace early and then have to replace it sooner. It's like all these weird paranoid things. So anyway, homeownership's great. You should all just do it. And Soren here dropping in, saying good evening from Texas with 17 years of subbing. How's it going, Soren? Ooh, Takeovermars, 8 years of subbing. Wow. Yeah, there you go. Right on. So tonight we're just going to be talking politics and homeownership on RantCast. No. I actually
Lots of bad advice about both.
Yeah, bad advice about both. Get your hot takes in now. No, I actually wanted to talk a little bit about sort of like the psychology of aesthetics of an army, like why you dig an army. I just did do an episode on Slaanesh with Vince Venturella. Some more stuff came out since that episode, so I do want to touch on that a little bit with you, Mars, because Mars, you've been like super, not just like adamant about Slaanesh, but also like actively recruiting people to Slaanesh's cause.
Need more
Slaanesh players. Yeah. It is the god of excess, so you should have an excessive amount of players.
Exactly. It should be the majority of players, I think, should be playing Slaanesh. They need to take out Stormcast, put Slaanesh in all the box sets. Retroactively, mind you. Like, go back.
Yeah.
On the old ones, get them sent back, replace it, and send them back out.
Yeah, so like the Soul Wars, just pull out the leave the Nighthaunt in it, pull out the sprues for like the Stormcast and throw in Slaanesh stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that's unreasonable, if I'm being honest.
I like that Frank is super, like, he's just all caps, just the fuck wagon, the party van. Like, this is of course the chariot that was
I call it the pleasure barge personally, but
so I want to touch base with Slaanesh, kind of in the lens of like aesthetics, why Slaanesh for you, and Jared, you've actually got some unique aesthetics yourself that you've sort of put in the game.
That's gonna
Yeah.
So
I like to force my way into the hobby.
Oh, you threw the bass in your voice too to make it extra creepy.
so ominous.
Oh man. If
We're talking about Slaanesh, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
So we'll talk a little bit about Slaanesh, and then we actually just sort of like an online conversation that we had about why isn't there like an Elder Gods sort of Cthulhian, Lovecraftian horror type thing? You've got your Tyranids in 40k. Where is that in Age of Sigmar? And I think we'll do a little bit of tinfoil hatting, a little bit of wish listing, and that'll be fun. A fun little reprieve from last week's double magma triple XL episode, if you caught that with me and Haywo, where we recap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. I think this is Sean here saying Timepiece Gnomes.
oh, that's one of your guys. Yeah. They already know.
Yeah, they already know.
Well, Sean's my co-host. Sean's my co-host on 0 and 5.
Spoilers.
And then Sajil telling everyone should just play Sylvaneth.
No.
don't like bad armies.
That's not okay to say to anybody ever.
I mean, it's weird because around the time period I was getting into Age of Sigmar, the two armies that were like it seemed to be selling the most, it was KO and Sylvaneth, with Nurgle kind of in there in good measure as well. But Nurgle players are like very distinctly Nurgle players. You got to be down with the sickness, you know. Like, and not everybody is. Yeah. But
the worst.
But Sylvaneth, it's like hobbyists buy Sylvaneth. They come to this game. They're like they don't even think about playing. I want like that's the army I want. I don't know what it is about that aesthetic that really appeals to artists. Maybe Sajil can drop in chat here what it is, why you really gravitate towards that aesthetic, and that's really the core question I want to ask. And I'm going to start with Mars because I think he's got the easy answer. Jared, you're gonna be a more difficult one. So Mike. So artists like landscape. Yeah.
You say it's hard.
All right, RantCast drinking game. Shot of milk when he makes a pervy joke. All right.
Oh my god. If you're not lactose intolerant, you will be.
GW can't make Sylv good. So when I met you, Mars, I think it's about a year now, maybe longer, maybe not. Again, time's meaningless. I don't know. Was it more than a year? Because 2020 did I know you a year going into 2020? Like I don't know.
I don't even remember. Honestly, I don't. I feel like I was still able to go outside
when we were friends. Yeah.
I think that was still allowed to go on.
Yeah. So it's more than a year then. Yeah. Crazy, but yeah. So you came in. You had like I know that you had some vampire army like sort of conversions and like an interest in doing some vampire stuff. And always in general like chaos, Sharon, Darth Vader. Like really like you strike me as a guy who really digs the dark side of the Force type.
Oh
like the bad guys. You know. What is it?
Misunderstood. That's
what's that?
They're just misunderstood.
They're just misunderstood.
Yeah.
So what is it about Slaanesh that really grabbed you? Because at some point I just remember like going hard in the paint. Maybe it was 2 years ago because Slaanesh would have been not this.
Well, I didn't think I liked Slaanesh for the longest time. I got into Warhammer just like the idea of it back in high school, almost 11 years ago. Well, over 11 years ago because in the middle of high school. I was all about Khorne because it's simple. Red's my favorite color. They were red. What more do I need?
Right.
But I got into AOS with Daughters of Cain, and I started painting them. I'm like, I like this. They're like excess violent. They're kind of fancy looking. I like that.
Yeah.
And then as soon as that Slaanesh reveal happened, with the Keeper Secrets and everything,
yes.
I dropped Daughters of Cain right. I'm like, that is what I want. Look, the elegance of her, like the royalty I felt they just gave off.
Yeah.
Like that. That's what I need. That's what I need in my life because I'm a man that likes to think of myself as classy when I know I'm not. I feel like that's exactly what Slaanesh is.
Yeah.
They're pretty on the outside and they're just disgusting on the inside.
Well, this is why Sigvald is great because Sigvald that just teased recently is like the poster child for like beautiful on the outside and just horrible inside.
Yeah.
Like just a terrible person.
When I found
that awesome Fulgrim model,
it will be.
Yeah. Well, you just Marathi plus Sigvald, boom, Fulgrim, right? Yeah,
done.
Yeah, Dunzo.
But that's kind of how that's what grabbed me about because I always like to dress nice when I go out and everything. But really, I'm just lazy and sloppy a lot of the time.
Very good painter though. So you I don't know, you're doing something right with that. Like if it's taking your time or you're dialed in more.
Really have to give it all to Vince.
Yeah.
Because I just watched his videos and that's how I got better. I'm like, I don't know how to do this. I bet Vince has a tutorial on it. And if he doesn't, I just tweet at him and he tells me how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, Vince is great that way. And Vince and you both kind of landed on a similar point. You say elegant and he like this is aesthetically beautiful, you know, even if it's not like the sort of Western, you know, ideas of beauty, but like this is like aesthetically a very pleasing army. And you know, like usually varied textures, a lot of good smooth surfaces. Like, you know, they tend to have a lot of great flow to them. They are aesthetically a elegant army. I think that's a very good word for it. Um, so yeah. Was there anything in the was it the aesthetic that grabbed you more, or was there like the aesthetic first, or was some of the narrative, because that sort of, you know, mentioned that ugly in the site? Go on.
So like I said, I learned about Warhammer back a while ago, and it's all about Khorne. But what I did know about Slaanesh is just all about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Which, don't get me wrong, all about that, but felt very shallow.
Yes.
So, but when I saw that, I looked like instantly got me like, I don't care what it is. That is my army now.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah.
And then I started getting into the lore. I'm like, oh, I like, and I started like, I read the Sigvald books and everything like right away. I was like, oh, this is got all that excess of pride that I like, and then it has my favorite type of story, perfect for them. It's that whole noble cause, I want to be the best to protect people type of stuff, baked right in. If you're like, you're gonna do the best you can, you're gonna get obsessed with being the best to save the people you love, and like AOS during the time of chaos, like you're gonna protect your city, you're gonna want to be the best, you're gonna keep pursuing that. Might make a little bad deals to be better, to help protect people,
and then eventually
road to hell paved in good intentions.
Yeah.
Perfect for Slaanesh.
Yeah, I talked about this with Vince. This is like, for me, this is what makes Slaanesh the army, like the Chaos God that I really dig. In 40K, I felt it was like more obvious, and AOS I was kind of waiting for it, and you know, they with the mortal side, they just slam dunk it for me. But you can really see that human element. That I don't mean human as in like mortals. I mean, you can really see the human story of somebody that's just prideful. I'm a very prideful individual. I know it doesn't show at all, and I'm certainly not arrogant ever, calling myself the most dangerous. Yeah, no, never seen it. But that's something I get. Like I like, even Vader's got a little bit of the, like, you know, desire to be the best. Prequels maybe don't stick the landing on it, but essentially the story is like he wants to be stronger to protect Padme and doesn't realize he's killing her in the end, right? Like,
yeah,
you know, that's a very spoiler alert if you haven't seen Star Wars. So I think there's that story is a very resonant, common, good story. You can even do like vengeance. You know, someone, like, you can take a vengeance plot too far, too excessive, right? Like, I'm out to, you know, pretty soon you're Leon the Professional. Like, you just like,
it might be a small slight, and they just sit there and they think about, man, that shit was bullshit, and then just becomes an obsession, and then just I love that. Because I feel like Slaanesh is the closest to being actual, like, what humans really are. I keep falling to Slaanesh so easily once I like looked at him. Like, this is, everybody feels anger like Khorne, but not many people like, I don't care who I'm gonna kill, I'm just killing everybody. That doesn't happen very often.
That's a very, like, in terms of like literal humanity, that's such a small amount of people that are that violent, like just rage violent, you know. Like, I know we live in America, so mass shooters are just a thing, but even then, if you
here.
Huh? Yeah, they're all here.
They're all here.
No,
the rest of the world.
Yeah, no, but to be driven to that level of violence, like, that is well under 1% of the population that are that. Just in terms of like volumetrically, the number of people who are too vain in their real life and just hurt people because of that, or take something drinking too far and you know, hit someone with their car, or whatever it is that they take too far, that they don't live with that balance. I think you're right. I think Slaanesh is. I think it's not just, you know, cool aesthetics. I think it's the most human of the stories. Nurgle's hard to get a read on, because Nurgle.
See, I can.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll take on that, just because. So I originally I got in when I wanted to change out and do the Nurgle army that I have. We'll talk about that later with conversions, but initially I wanted to change the aesthetic. But the more I read about Nurgle, I actually started to connect a little more to. In my mind, Nurgle is a fear of death. It's the natural need to extend one's life out and extend the lives of those around you, and evolve and change and adapt. And as much as obviously Tzeentch is the lore of change, I feel like Nurgle's more the lore of evolution. and how to get, in the same sense as Slaanesh, get better, but how to survive. And I guess that essence of survival leans more for me.
Yeah. No, I could like like disease, like from a lore standpoint, Nurgle just cares about an excessive life. Actually, like he doesn't care what kind of life. Like disease are living, diseases living organisms. Like that's plenty of life too. Like look at all those like cultures of rot inside of this little petri dish. Look at how much life is there. He doesn't care about life. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's even like I used to try and think of like literary figures and which god they would lean to or whatever. And like to me, I think like Dr. Victor Frankenstein, like something like that creation of life out of nothing, and that evolution and survival pieces to it of, I need to make something. I need to make sure that this isn't the end.
Well, and one of the coolest armies I've ever seen for Nurgle is actually like a pumpkin, like literal like pumpkin Frankenstein style like Halloween themed Nurgle, and it's one of the coolest armies I've ever seen. Like he's got a little bit of Oogie Boogie in his I don't remember who did it. It's one of those pictures you see every now and then floats around on Twitter. I wish I could cite the artist because it's fantastic. But it's got a little bit of Oogie Boogie with their Guo. Like, because you can see the Oogie Boogie Guo, and then like pumpkins everywhere, and like very stylistic with like the sort of long, no right edges because Tim Burton hates right angles. So no right angles, just like these super elongated, jagged faces and all the pumpkins. Really, really cool stuff. I'll have to try to track it down and maybe throw it in the show notes to show people what I'm talking about. I get that. When I did the show with Dr. Alex Mylonis, when we mapped the Chaos Gods to sort of basic human emotions, depression or even manic depression was what we kind of mapped Nurgle to. And I could see that fear of loss and that sort of like, you kind of like, you close down, you put on the front of being happy for everybody because you're secret, like I can see that being a very Nurgle sort of mentality. Mm-hmm. And I think that the great irony of it all is that we're probably all a little bit of the 4 Chaos Gods, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So
I was thinking
Khorne's the easy one because it's like whenever you're pissed off.
Oh yeah. You
vengeance or honor or anything like that is. And like, if you take the Chaos Gods and actually put them to a good turn, it's perfection for Slaanesh, honor for Khorne, intelligence, just mastery over one's intelligence for Tzeentch, and growth for Nurgle. Like they all have good human aspects to them. It's just the gods within the Warhammer universe feed off of the negative.
Right. And Tzeentch, I almost think of it as the sort of like people can surprise you. Like you can surprise yourself. Like you're always capable of surprising or changing yourself. And so like I like, yes, they feed off the negative stuff in this, and this is not a moral relativity take. So don't think that like he's saying that the Chaos Gods are good guys. I'm not that guy. I will. You will. Yeah, you will. But that's never my take. Like they are bad guys. Genocide generally just always a bad thing, and many of them are super into that.
Yeah, but look, I'm just going to say there's good guys on both sides. That's what I'm gonna say. I mean, there's good and bad on both sides. I'm just going to throw that out there. I feel like there's good and bad on both sides we're just not focusing on. I feel like, we're really canceling out a lot of the positive aspects of the Chaos Gods.
Well, talking about the positive sides, if you go in the Slaves of Darkness book, like they talk about the other aspects that come from the Chaos Gods and how the tribes worship them through that way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they're all bad. Sure, no, that's how they start corrupting you from the positive side and.
Yeah, I mean, that's how they pull you deeper down that road to hell is paved in good intentions.
Yeah.
But the important thing to note about this fictional story of these fictional characters is that road to hell is inevitable when you are when you're down with the Chaos Gods. Like, you will be pulled into that eventually. The strongest amongst you always break, always fall, always go evil. That's the story of the Chaos Gods. Like, they're going to get your souls eventually. Unlike Nagash, who is benevolent and will take the pain of having a soul away from you, so you don't need to worry about falling to corruption and chaos. Because
I think that's what makes chaos more interesting than AOS, is because like in 40K, like everybody's fucked up, like whatever. there's
like everyone's bad in 40K. Like it's just which bad guy is the baddest right now, and it's just everyone is bad. Yeah.
But like there's a whole bunch of there's a whole bunch of bad ways to die, and well, in AOS there's a lot of bad ways to die, but like with Nagash, their dying really isn't the end, and even with the Chaos Gods, dying isn't the end, and the Stormcast dying isn't the end. So when you die, it's like, how good did you do before that happened?
Yeah.
On the other side, there's like 7 different factions that base around cannibalism in AOS, though. So
yeah, that.
I mean, that's just I think that speaks to humanity's ability to consume itself. I mean, there's a lot of metaphors in Age of Sigmar. No, back to your point, Mars, that like, how good were you before you died, right? Like, for me, I think Age of Sigmar is a story of hope. And it's art. If you're talking about stories are art. Storytelling is an art form. So read into it and take away from it what you will. But like the storm, like there's a hope, and it's a two-edged sword of hope. What does hope cost you? Like for me, that's really like the question at the core of Age of Sigmar. People fell to chaos because they had no hope. The Age of Chaos, like the heaven is shut down. Heaven's gone. You make the hard choices to survive right now. That's it. You're going to get eaten by gorgons and primal crazy crap that we're going to talk about we want to see in the game, that because like I think that should be here. You're just tribal folk, or maybe you have like a little city or settlement, and like the gates close. You're cut off from like heaven and goodness and light and all that stuff, and it's just, how do you survive? How do you keep your family alive?
My army's lore for my mortals, they are slaves to darkness right now, but when the obviously Slaanesh mortals come out, that shit's getting jettisoned for the proper mortals.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the story. Like they were just a normal city before the Age of Chaos, and the city got locked out, and the guy's like, well, I'm gonna do what I have to do to keep this city going, and then eventually just made a deal with a demon to like share the body, which that was before the Twin Souls came out, so that's kind of cool. He shared his body with the demon to start slowly corrupting the whole city to Slaanesh. It was great.
Yeah.
There's also the Realm of Light, which kind of Techless coming out kind of messed that whole thing up. So, but other than that yeah, what is my lore? God.
Yeah.
What does he think he is coming in here?
Trying to catch back up on chat here. I see Rocco, your boy, dropping 1,000 RDP to remind everybody that Chat Gang ain't nothing to mess with. What? Padme dies in the end? Jar Jar becomes a super important senator. Yeah.
You know what? I loved episode 1. So.
Look, I'll put it this way. I was talking to a buddy of mine actually last night about this because we were talking Star Wars. Like, so many people get so butthurt over things like Jar Jar or the Porgs or Grogu, Baby Yoda, and all that kind of stuff. But like, I think they missed the point that Star Wars originally, in most circumstances, it's meant for kids. Like, I fucking loved Ewoks growing up, and like, if I was in my 20s and watched Star Wars, I would have fucking hated them. But I fucking love those things. Well, that's just Jar Jar's just the Ewoks of another generation.
It could be because I watched the first one with my dad, and like that's all the good memories I have. But I watched Jar Jar, still laugh to the same. Like, that dude's hilarious. I don't know what everybody's problem is. I love that guy. I'd get a Have you ever seen Fanboys?
Yes, yes.
Tattoos are like, that guy's going to do shit. That's me. I'm like, that guy's going to
freaking Seth Rogen. Actually, the technical term is Trekker. Like, we prefer Trekker. Oh my god, that fight scene between the nerds is like one of the best things ever. And then Shatner's meeting them to give them Star Wars intel, and they're like, but he can't like he has got to meet them on the sneak because like it would undermine his cred as like a Star Trek icon. Like, oh my god, fantastic movie. Really good human plot too. Like they just want like their buddies. They just want their buddy to see it before.
It's freaking happy sad at the end.
Yeah, Darth Maul's actor plays the freaking guard, and he like dual wields the batons. Oh man, what a great flick. Oh man,
that was a good movie.
No,
it's one of my favorite movies. Right up there. You need to watch fanboys, and you watch episode 1 and then the rest of them. That's how I would do it.
Well, and I want to read a comment here from chat real quick, but before I get to that, the point about it being for kids, I think that's super important. Nerds need to lighten the fuck up. This has been a message I have had on my channel for aeons. The gatekeeping crap, and face it, when you're telling people this is not my Star Wars, you're in so many words telling other people that they can't like it either, and that's not awesome. Like, episode 1, 2, and 3 are not my favorite Star Wars. 3 has fantastic choreography. I'll take that to my grave. I will stand. I will.
Whatever.
I will stand on that. I will draw the line in that sand, and I will die on that hill. The choreography is fantastic in that last fight scene. It's absolutely awesome. Even the line that gets made fun of, and I've said this before on RantCast, so I'm sorry if this is a repeat for some of you in chat gang, but even the line at the end when he says, "I have the higher ground," it is a metaphor for the whole series, like for the whole thing. Like, he's not just saying I have the higher ground tactically. He literally has the moral high ground in, like, the whole, like, Obi-Wan does.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a poignant point. There's, like, at no point in the Star Wars universe does Vader ever beat Obi-Wan. Even though, strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you can ever imagine. It's Obi-Wan's world. The rest of us are just living in it. Can you figure out which character of mine is my favorite in Star Wars? Has anyone picked up on that subtly yet?
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yes. My Xbox Live handle is Qui-Gon Win, by the way. But it's Obi-Wan. Damn it! It could have been Obi-Wan Kenobi. Shit! Why did I go with Qui-Gon Win?
Well, I mean, you can still change it. Don't worry. Well, maybe not now. Somebody just stole it.
Yeah, it's gone.
Right
So Rocco, your boy, going back to the Falling to Chaos thing, he says, "You mean the road to being a Chaos Spawn with an asshole for a mouth isn't a good thing?" Yeah, probably not. Like, I don't like.
I disagree. Strong disagree.
Hard
I
disagree.
mean, it's really just perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather be a Chaos Spawn with an asshole for a mouth than a skeleton.
You take that back right now.
I can't. That's honest truth. I still have my skin as a Chaos Spawn. No, I'm all bone. Like, what am I doing with that? Nothing.
What if I made you into like 12 skeletons with like super bones? No? Oh, man. All
The
right.
only undead thing I would want to be is a vampire.
Vampires are sweet.
I'm still waiting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, vampires
When I
are
look
sweet.
at that, I try and look at what's like the lowest common denominator. Like, what's the lowest thing I could end up fucking being? And the lowest thing I can think for chaos is spawn. Like, what's the shittiest thing to be? So for chaos, the thing is spawn. But when I'm thinking death, there's one model that comes to mind, and I have the box actually.
It's so much worse than being a skeleton for death, though.
The worst model is right here, and it's not the model you think. It's that guy.
The Gothazar the Nad guy, being Nad guy on the Gothazar Harvester. Yeah.
I am the dick of a giant monster. That's the worst thing.
See,
you can be.
you're saying it in the wrong tone. I am the dick of a giant monster. That's awesome. You're saying like
You're a little dick on a giant monster. Still not that great. Chaos Spawn, you can have a million giant dicks.
Yeah, if you're a Chaos Spawn, you can just be all dicks. Like you're just the petty arcade dick wolves.
Yeah. The good, like the fleshy good part of the dick.
Yeah.
Not the inside nothingness of the dick. Like, what dick do you want to be? Do you want to be the dick that feels and enjoys, or the dick that just hardens up when it gets nervous?
I am so sorry to a measurable percentage of chat gang right now.
I wasn't expecting this dialogue to happen.
No,
but I support it. I'm all about it right now.
We're looking at dicks from all the different grand alliances. Destruction's best by far.
And then hard left turn here. Soren says, "I would like to think that Age of Sigmar is a story about struggle. It is a Walking Dead level of enclaves against the environment, the outsiders, and the dead." I like that take a lot. Soren also dropping 1,000 RDP to remind everyone that chat gang ain't none to fuck with, especially after tangents like that. What unit in Age of Sigmar best is a unit, like a phallus? That's really, those are the hard hitting questions that you only get here on RantCast.
I want to circle back to the destruction one. What is destruction dick of a unit?
Dude, it's a mushroom.
Which mushroom?
Any
mushroom?
all shapes and sizes. You've got red cap, you've got beat things. You know they're all high. I mean, all of it. And like, for orcs, if you're following 40k logic, they're vegan because it's plant based. You know,
that's fair.
I'm gonna go with Mangler, the Mangler squig. Dude on Mangler squig because it's got two Mangler squigs and it's got the like one erect rider. You know.
I see that. I see that.
Yeah.
It's giant cojones.
Yep. Yeah.
Like show. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
I mean, order is just uncomfortable.
Tiny dick, huge balls. Yeah. Yeah. You're welcome. So I just lost the three female viewers of RantCast and all my NB friends. So
I would apologize, but we haven't touched on Stormcast's dick yet. We need to cover them all.
All right. So I'm gonna let this. I'll allow it. What was the referee from Clay the Clay Death Battles or whatever? What was that called? I can't remember what it's called. Celebrity Deathmatch.
Yeah.
Celebrity Deathmatch. I'll allow it. Okay, Stormcast. Let's go. Let's finish it.
Oh, you think Stormcast on the dick?
You got to finish the tangent. Like
It's a reforged dick. Like it's a refurbished dick. Like if you have an option between a new computer or a refurbished one, what are you gonna go for? The dick that's been remade 27 times because it fucked up the first few?
Yeah, yes. Okay, you sold me right away on that. That's okay. Shit. Okay.
Oh, my dick fucked up. I guess we're gonna have to make a new one.
I was
out of the parts of the old one.
That's exactly what happened. This dick is broken. Bring it in.
Bring it in. We're gonna remake it again. Bring your buddies in too. We're gonna put them both together and make a new one. Maybe we'll give them some wings this time.
Yep.
And it gets worse every time. If you actually follow Stormcast logic, every time a Stormcast gets reforged, the brain goes away. It technically gets worse. They go more insane. So every time you're refurbishing that dick, it's only getting worse. Like it's cutting back a couple of inches. Maybe it's a little thinner. Maybe the blood just doesn't get to it right. You know. All I'm saying is a Stormcast stick is a measuring contest to ED. That's all it is.
All right.
All right.
Thank you. The 0-5 podcast has officially broken Mephisto. Thank you. You've done what no other guest could do. In 81,
my work here is done.
81 episodes. Mars, thank you so much.
Having me.
Yeah.
It's a great end of a wonderful reign. High point.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. We want the battle-tested dick, says Rocco, your boy. The battle-hardened dick, you might say. Give me a veteran of the sheets. I want a dick that's been to war.
He's got scars.
It's like the eye can't, like, it never looks at you straight because it's seen some shit, you know, like.
Why did it fare that way? I don't know, man. We don't talk to it. It's been back a few times.
Thank you.
Like that's the time.
So anyway, oh man.
It came out of a guy that flew on a comet. Come on. What did you think was going to happen? Yeah, I'm sorry. The guy that flew on a comet made out of a dead planet is going to remake your dick 27 times. Cool.
How else do you think Catacross got that cod piece? I'm not going to say that there's plenty of phalluses to be seen in Age of Sigmar if you're looking for them, but there's plenty of phalluses to be seen in Age of Sigmar if you're looking for them.
That's a good question. If you're Catacross, Why don't you make yourself a dick?
He
Why
has
only
one.
a cod
Oh, he
piece?
totally has one. Like that cod piece removable. Like it's under there, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's
Something if you made that thing in battle, man.
No, he crafted his own body. Like he crafted his own body, and like so naturally, if he like, you gotta keep in mind like most OCR Bone Reaper are like, in terms of gender politics, they're pretty progressive, man. Like they just are beings. Like they have 12 souls.
Fucking
Like
everything, man.
yeah, that's crazy. But Catacross is a dude, right? And no man would craft his own body and not embellish. I don't think there's like.
Is it embellishing at that point? Because it's his now. It's 100. It's not embellishing.
Well, I know what kind of converting I need to do for my Catacross model.
But
I'm gonna use that extra dick guy off the Gothazar and just plant it right in there.
Is that what he has?
like it's just that's you take the it's just like a whole torso.
It's just
it's the torso of another dude.
Oh, you're trying to run up Bone Reapers for me right now, and it won't happen.
Lord Catacross, how dost thou wish thine dick? Fetch me fetch me a thick torsoed man.
After every battle, he just adds to it.
Now you know why they're called Bone Shapers, am I right? Yeah, okay.
So the Bone Daddy's nickname?
Yeah, so the Bone Daddies, yeah. Bring me
this fever's dick.
boo. I'm getting booed now for that one. I deserve it. I deserve it. So yeah, the God, I don't even. What the hell were we talking about before this?
We're talking about how human Slaanesh was, and somehow we got over here.
Yeah, human Slaanesh
gods
making their own dicks. That's
yeah,
where we.
No, that's where it was. No, I was talking about like how.
So it's kind of full circle with Slaanesh. That makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
But the thing is the thing that bothered me about Slaanesh prior to this release is that it was all just kind of like off kilter, dated penis humor. Like, I didn't like that about Slaanesh. I was waiting for it to mature and be cool, and that's what I think they have right now. Is like with the Keeper of Secrets model, like it's androgynous, but it's this like unearthly androgyny. You know.
And maybe I'm wrong for saying. I know I'm not. I know I'm right. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful sculpt, and that model is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's a great looking model.
Right. And it screams like, just like I said earlier, royalty. The flowing like it's not really a cloak, but yeah, their clothes just flowing behind it. Every time I put one together, because I've built like 5 so far, I always put rose petals down in front of it, because I feel like that's what it should be walking. People are throwing rose petals down towards it.
Yeah. I mean, even yeah.
Go for it.
No, and I was gonna say like with the new sort of Seeker models, they've got like the new Seeker riders and stuff like that.
Oh, those are beautiful too.
They actually like they look like regal, like they really remind me of like 1, chocobos, but 2 like of like peacocks. The way like they're like almost all of them are like strutting and stuff. Like it's adding like that prideful element to Slaanesh. The imagining excess as more than just like old transphobe humor. Like it's like actually like really again humanizing it and making it something that's more interesting. The guy on the palanquin, the pleasure barge or the party boat or whatever you want to call it.
Pleasure barge. It is pleasure barge.
It's the pleasure barge. Yeah, it's not the party bus or whatever like it.
That's not enough. First off, it's
the fuck plane.
It's not about partying. It's about the pleasure of the hedonism bot.
Yeah,
on the
yeah. But like that character being like overweight and showing us a different like almost a Jabba the Huttian sort of like evokes that sort of Star Wars like the barge where they're going to like execute Luke Skywalker. Kind of evokes that a little bit too, right? By the way, I've heard that the sculptor who did Catacross did that one, which is why that one's also awesome.
It's beautiful.
That makes sense.
Vince pointed out the hookah that I completely missed, and because as soon as I saw it, I was like, I need to add a hookah to that thing. Like, that sculptor is on top of it. Got everything you need.
I think the coolest part about it is actually the barge itself, which got these like cool statues, like these like edifices carved into it. I think that's really cool.
I can't wait to see like how it needs to be built together, because I want to do the marble that I've been doing with all my other stonework for my Slaanesh. And I'm worried about how difficult it's going to be with depending on built.
Well, depending on like how much surface area you have, there's a technique that I plan on using for my. I got to repaint my Bone Tithe Nexus. I'm gonna marble it, and there's a technique with a sponge where you actually like grab like a very porous sponge, and so you'll do your like sort of standard coats. You use Zethothal, and then you're gonna get to that sort of like mid when you're in the middle of your coats. You're gonna go in with a sponge of like a could be gold if you want to like have like a gold sort of filigree laid throughout it, or it could be like a gray or a silver, and you sponge it, and then you go back and you do another layer and you do some washes and stuff, and that's supposed to be a really good technique. So I'm gonna try that technique. There's a couple videos out there. Domus, I think, actually recommended to me the first time. So I'm gonna try to marble my Bone Tithe Nexus, and if that works for that, then the party boat will get a. Well, I'll try to do that with that. So
I like how you're getting into Slaanesh. Listen to you. When you get it, you're gonna do it. Ah, love it.
Well, to be fair, the vampire teaser here had me. I already knew vampires were gonna jump the line, and I'm already like, like I think I had to wait till October before I like buy many more Slaanesh models because I have a few, and I'm such a slow hobbyist that I'm pretty sure by the time I finish those, like, we'll see if vampires actually hit in October, and if they do, then it's got to be vampires. I'm sorry, dude. Like I love you. I'm a big fan of Slaanesh, but the first love, you never. Yeah.
I mean, I got rid of most of the vampire army that I was building, but I kept all the vampires just for when vampires get released.
Yeah.
Dire wolves had to go though. Like, this is boring.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, bloodsuckers.
Where were we at here? Opulent fuckwagon. Yeah, the fuckwagon. Thank you, everyone, with your pet names for this thing. We're just not. You just can't get away. This sophomoric humor. Whenever you do a Slaanesh episode, you can't get away from it. It's always there.
I think that's good.
It's hard to avoid. It's in your face.
Yeah, it is.
What's the dryer sheet method? Kicker. Apparently, there's a dryer sheet method for marbling as well.
I don't know what that
I trust the orgy pit. has been scraped and buttered. No, that's actually a hedonist bot line. Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing is like the hedonism of Slaanesh is really here in that model.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, like, I swear if you look at the footprint of it, the silhouette of it, it even looks like hedonist bot. It's kind of like oblong in the middle, and then
it kind of does, yeah.
Like if you turn it sideways, and like it almost cuts a silhouette of hedonist spot, which is pretty hilarious.
It'd be great if they made the base look like a dick, like dick and balls, like the base itself shaped like a dick and balls.
Yeah,
like a specialized base. That would be perfect.
I kind of want to pull up the picture now because I think I could.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a pipe light. I think it's a pipe light.
Pipe.
But like the barge itself, is there a lower hang and then kind of goes up?
Oh, it's got a hang low.
Yeah, so you can just make dick and balls on it right away. Pretty easy.
So Pierce Miniatures actually does dick and ball bits that you can buy. I know they make dick and ball bits for demons.
Oh,
so like if you want
to. I've never added dick and balls to it. I saw somebody sculpt a vagina onto one before though, and that was really, it was just
a whole new level of art. I can't.
Yeah, no, it was impressive. Like they added teeth to it too, from like the book Teeth. Like that's, I'm
tracks.
Like,
yeah. The
Well,
man has a singular focus, and I respect that. Says Tomb King Tristan. This is you not drinking for an episode, like.
Yeah. It only gets worse.
Yeah.
But with hedonism, about Kelly, my girlfriend, I don't think you've actually met her. At the moment it was released, she found a meme with hedonism bot in it and sent it to me. I was like, I need to get a sculpt of hedonism bot to put inside this barge. But I don't know where I can get it, but I need it.
But you can't, like, on here, I don't remember the character's name that's sitting in the barge. I can't not hear that character speaking like hedonist bot, though.
Yeah.
Like, and over here, we'll capture this subjective. Like, like, it's just
exactly how he speaks.
Yeah, of course. Fetch me the butter. Like, just, like, it's nothing.
I I just want Hedonism Bot's head and replaced.
Yeah, yeah.
It'd be great.
But I do like that they're going they're imagining Slaanesh in these different directions from that core, that core sort of basic stuff from the 80s that they just never really went away from, and I think that that's really awesome. In 40K they did. Doom Rider does cocaine, Noise Marines play electric guitars and murder you with them. Like, they went all in on like the sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and over here it's just like mostly just the sex. And I'm like, where's the drugs and rock and roll? Oh, there it is. Nice.
Like that even like just the sex, drugs, and rock and roll kind of was overplayed in 40K there for a while.
Sure.
Like, 'cause that's all it was.
Right, and that human element was still missing. It was just a meme.
Yeah.
Yeah, continue.
Yeah,
continue.
It was satirical, yeah.
Which was what, like, back then, even as a child, it was very mature. I was like, this is a little much. I'm not connecting with this. I can connect with angsty anger though.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yeah, and maybe part of it could be that like you've matured as an individual too. You've grown up some, and like what your values may have shifted or changed a little bit. Manzak says, I feel like the main character on the barge has a lot of last minute details, poorly tacked on, like his tongue and the tentacle on his shoulder. Now that may be true. Could be a rush paint job. It could be that heavy metal. It's the photography for me. I feel like they're just never quite on par with when you get even the Gothazar Harvester I thought was going to be like kind of crummy, but once you put it together, it's got this depth that they don't show off in the pictures. Like, it just doesn't convey the depth of the model, and then you go, oh, this is actually really sweet. The details thing is, for me, it's in the go too far. Always go too far with your sculpts, Games Workshop. Always, always, always. Because I can always, like, take a bit off is way easier than like green stuffing something on that I think should be there. Or even if you have a tentacle there, now I have a structure that I can green stuff and build upon. So like, always go too far. I always want their models to be too weird rather than not weird enough. Sometimes it goes too weird in a direction that I'm like, that's not my bag, but I'm glad they go that far because again, it's really easy to bring it back.
I think also like a lot of those pictures for the bigger models, they have an issue, like just the angles that they could get in there just makes things look really weird. So
Yeah.
I usually wait to actually see it in person before I judge if something looks weird or wrong.
I tend to wait for that too. Like, I always give myself a little bit of a sort of like buffer when I looking at like the images on the internet. I'm like, they almost always look better in person. Almost always. There's only a couple models that looked worse in person, and it's like Bulgors. I think Bulgors actually look worse than they look on the internet. I was disappointed with how boxy and like how clumpy their hair is, and I'm like, ooh, like, but they look pretty sweet on the internet. So, cough, Teclis. Are you saying Teclis looks better or worse in person? Because they're
both fucking terrible. That stupid fucking cat face thing is the most ridiculous thing I think I've ever seen.
So yeah, I believe the 21st. The 21st of January, I'll have Tyler Emerson and Martin Orlando on to talk about how elves and how much they love them.
Can I say so? I fucking love Marty. I love Marty. We had Marty on when the Lumineth book first came out, and no lie, I have to hand it to him. He was trying so hard to get through the book, and it was just the three of us fucking dumb goons making fun of him the entire time. Just terrible. Just every single time he had to say the one spell Total Eclipse, it was going right into Total Eclipse of the Heart.
That's every the only response you should have to anything called
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you can tell on their part.
I love you.
You could tell, if anyone that listens back to the podcast, you can tell when he's slowly descending into anger because there's a pause. He just goes, so, and then goes right into the next thing. And I have to hand it to him for his patience.
Yeah. He's got a really good deadpan too. If you like have a good conversation with him. Grim Slacker, I love you, buddy. He's just like, hey, straight fuck off. Techless rules. Chat gang, you do not undermine the will of Chat gang. Chat gang will fuck you up.
Some people like bad things. Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't know. People give him a lot of shit, but like his wing on that model's amazing. Great for kit bashes on anything. The terrain that he comes with, great for terrain.
Look, man, when I want a big model, I want a giant cat with a face mask, and I want my main character to be doing an uncomfortable T-pose.
I think that. Go ahead, Mars.
Like, the face works great on like anything you want to kit bash it onto. Like,
is that the cat mask?
That's Teclis's face, but like
really?
the kit, I feel like the kit is great when you add it to other kits in bits and pieces.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think Teclis maybe might be the weak link on that model, but I think I actually overall like it personally. And again, that's before having seen it physically in person, and I've seen some better photography where they've actually kind of shifted it. And the way he's like sort of floating forward really gives it this sort of diagonal sort of movement that actually really helps it from like the standard pose where you see him just kind of floating off to the side. It looks very flat. It's not like that in person, and I think that really helps it.
I think.
But you have to fix his arms, I think, is what most people sort of agree. And the others, go ahead.
I don't like the floating period. I think it would look. It doesn't look imposing to me. It just there's a dude floating. Okay.
I disagree, and I disagree for the reason that I think you can dig. Slaanesh, Sigvald. Sigvald is floating down and like currently landing. If you look at the motion of the model, Sigvald is currently coming down, like his cape, the way it's billowing up. Teclis is the inversion of that motion, rising up. It's actually a really awesome sort of dark mirror sort of vibe from the two models, and I think that's really cool. In the same way that I love that like Xanthos is sort of dark mirror of the Lord Arcanum on Griftcharger or whatever. Like like dark mirrors of each other. Like I think AOS is at its best when they're sort of like the factions that dislike each other are sort of mocking each other even in their sculpts. I think that really, really brings some harmony to the game across all of the factions. And so I think Teclis, I don't know. I would have loved to be in that sculptor's room when they got the concept, right? Because you get like a piece of paper or post-it notes saying we need a sculpt for this, we need a sculpt for this, and they kind of get a lot of free reign. They get a ton of free reign. They pick art from the past that they're really inspired by, and then they just have they go through and they sculpt. Martin, Orlando, and Vince have some very good insights into how that process works that I'm just not an expert on, but that's sort of my layman interpretation.
That's fine.
What's that?
You can speculate. That's fine. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, but like I would love to be in that room when something like that Teclis and the Sigvald, because 2020 ruined the rollout. Brexit ruined the rollout. There's some issues with China with Tencent and importing like the plastic and stuff like that. That ruined. Yeah, that was just a while back, and that ruined some rollouts. But that pipeline of development's going on kind of constantly. So I have to imagine the sculptors, I don't know, they're probably not in the room together. It's probably more of a digital thing. I have to imagine the guy doing Sigvald looked at that Teclis model, or vice versa, depending on how the pipeline works, and they kind of like one-upped each other back and forth. And I just imagine that story, because like the guy just had like, maybe he did initially have Teclis like from the splash art, where it's like the wide and he's like kind of coming down like that, and that really cool box art that like, oh, that should have been the sculpt, right? I bet you they had a sculpt like that. But then like Sigvald was over there, he's like, no, fuck this. Sigvald's not gonna like I need a Sphinx, and like like I could just imagine this contest of like going too far. And again, I always want them to go too far. Like always.
I just want to know who decided, hey, for this model, we should put a stupid fucking cat with a mask on it.
I didn't even comment on that. The mask looks super
I
cool.
like the mask. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
The mask I hate the mask. You're wrong.
Look, it's America. You're free to be wrong. Okay, that's the thing I have learned the most.
It's a cat with this face.
Yeah, it's cool. That's a cat face.
It's serene. Yeah, the serenity of a cat face. I love that. This is there's an audio sort of component to the show. No one can see your face. And so there's going to be people who are listening to this in pure podcast form on like Spotify or Anchor or Podbean. And I just want them to imagine your face. Just Just for a minute. Just you may not know what Jared looks like. Just by his voice, imagine him making whatever face he was making, and just like ruminate on that a moment. All right, we're good. Let's keep going.
Oh yeah, with the floating thing, I didn't think about the Sigvald contrast and stuff, which I do like the dark parallels that you're talking about. But the floating position reminds me of every like Saturday morning cartoon when the bad guy's like floating up, getting superpowered, and then get shot down right at the last second. That's what that position reminds me of. I'm like, that's an awful position to be in.
Mm-hmm.
No way any smart person would ever get in that position, because that means they're going to die soon.
But like in the lore, Teclis tends to make some reckless, very arrogant decisions, and
that's fair.
And
he would put himself.
Wait, you mean like the Ideneth Deepkin?
Yeah, never mind. You're right. That's actually very fitting for him. I don't have a complaint about the model anymore. I've never talked this through with anybody, and yeah.
Do you ever make an entire race by accident and then fuck it up? Way to go, Teclis.
Once. I didn't think about doing it a second time.
Grim Slacker here saying, this is AOS. You can love it and hate it. No middle ground required. And I love that take. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, there are so many models like that where I'm like, I love it, but I hate it. Guo. Like, I'm like, like I can't handle, like the Drycha. I can't handle the my trypophobia. I saw someone do a conversion of Drycha into this like this undead thing where it had like the corpses coming out where Drycha is, and like there's just like it was like this corpse horror amalgam. The thing that I really want in Age of Sigmar the most is like horror. Like I want the Bloodborne horror amalgam monsters. Like I want that. You know, I want the craziness. I guess we can. This would be a good like sort of transition into our Eldritch horror thing, but. I saw them do that conversion. I'm like, this is the most grotesque, metal, awesome thing I've been talking about. But like, it's got the Drycha like pods, and I'm like, it works so well because like they filled it with like little like corpse pods and stuff like. I'm like, oh, it's so cool, and yet I'm still cringing because like I can't handle it because it just.
Did you
something about circles when they're close together? It just my brain can't handle it.
Did you ever see the Great Clean one? Someone that modeled the Great
Yeah,
Clean one? That is the
creepy.
most uncomfortable fucking model I have ever seen in my life.
Where it's all like
Just
smooth and
that slick guy.
Oh. I didn't like it. That one felt way worse than what Nurgle normally looks like. I was like, no.
Just slick. Like, you know the model's sweaty.
Like it's playing Smash Brothers in the basement somewhere, sweaty, like that kind of sweaty.
Yeah.
Sorry, Smash Brothers fans. Oh man.
It smells like dawn and beer.
Did you link it in the chat for everybody? There you go.
Yeah.
That's god, that one was gross.
I don't know. I've played IDK a few times. Teclis did not fuck up. That race was a total win. Yeah, like they're a perennial 4-1 army waiting for the 5-0 just on a matchup.
Playstyle, no. The actual the army itself to play is fantastic. I'm saying from a lore perspective, like he made a race that was soulless and blind that needed to go and fucking find souls to sap from other people and live underwater because reasons.
Really, I'd argue that's still not even fucking up a race. This is making a really hardcore race.
Yeah, you're
just could have fostered that shit.
Yeah, what the fuck up was leaving them. He made awesome like sea vampire raiders. Like that's pretty sweet. Soul vampires.
He has to hold on to that past he has for some reason.
Yeah, Teclis milk and cigaretted the item the deep get.
He went up for milk and cigarettes and never came back.
Yeah. And then in addition later they see him with the Lumineth, like, what the fuck?
I don't know if you guys ever watch Monk, but I just watched that episode of Monk where he finally gets to see his dad. He's going through the whole time driving with his dad, talking about his other brother he has, and at the end, it's like, oh no, he's a fuck up too. I'm like, just waiting for Lumineth to turn out to be just a fuck up too.
Yeah. I like
it's Dad's other family. It's like fuck them.
Sajil, feast your eyes upon the smooth.
Warning, I wouldn't again.
That's a model you cover in Ard coat just for lore purposes. Just so it's just slick.
That's man,
Hold on.
great clean one.
I'll be right back.
All right, man. The great clean one. I just
and it's even got stretch marks on it. Just like it looks like it's covered in moisturizer. Like it's that kind of thing. It's,
a lot of people really. Oh, go ahead. Finish your thing.
Oh, I was gonna say, which to go along with that, since I've been painting my squigs all different colors, I did for fun do a flesh tone squig, and it literally looks like a testicle that came alive. I fucking love flesh tone squigs. They're ridiculous.
There's an uncanny valley to that. Like squigs by themselves are like completely out there, but when you start to try to make them look normal, it gets unsettling.
Mm-hmm.
Like with flesh tone, with like realistic flesh tones and stuff like that. That's what it's like. They should be fantastical and purple and have like bee stripes and stuff. No, the minute you start to try to like, well, I'm gonna paint this like photorealistic flesh. Whoo.
Like I added little bits of purple in the creases and stuff, and it looks like a dude riding a testicle. That's it.
I'm so pleased you're pleased with this.
I am, man. That was the best flesh tone I ever painted. I was super proud of myself. If I'm gonna paint flesh, I better paint balls. Taint, get it? Freudian sleep.
Minus, Jared is just mad. The great clean one looks like his head minus the beard.
Oh, absolutely, just slick. Uncomfortable.
Add some brown static grass to like what the
yeah
the
bottom of it
to the squig. Man, just seeing people really hate Teclis. It seems like they just like despise him.
I just don't like elves. I think that's the big thing. I don't like elves in general. That's why I like to shit on any of the elven races for the most part.
You're more of a dwarf guy, as I recall from like our last conversation.
100%.
Yeah. See, I was landing on this recently. Like I don't know if it's like a random live chat I had, or if I was just hanging out in Discord with some chat gang, and I was like, I don't have the same fervor, like fervent hatred for made up stuff I used to have. Like, don't get me wrong, I play act being angry about stuff because it's fun and it's cathartic. But like when it gets right down to it, like I don't really like have that. I used to like kind of dislike all the stunty races because if you're short, you're not important. Everyone knows that. Like I learned that from Fist of the North Star. The taller you are, the more important you are. Like children are short. They are therefore unimportant. Like it was just this like meme thing I always like joked about. But like it caused me to not like gnomes in, like in whether it was World of Warcraft or like a halfling in Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I just didn't like them. I would never play a halfling even if it was the most min-maxed thing I could come up with. And by extension, dwarves I kind of disliked until they made dwarves stout and not just short too.
Short. Yeah.
Like, because there's a time in there where, like, dwarves were, like, a small race as well. And then they made them... There is one exception to this, even growing up. And that one exception was David the Gnome. David the Gnome was fucking awesome.
Amazing.
I loved
Amazing.
Like, Nickelodeon, you guys remember David the Gnome? Like, just, like, he had, like, a pet fox that or not a pet fox, it was, like, a friend.
Swift. Yeah. The fox. It was a fox.
Just a friendo, like, they would just, like, show up and he'd, like, party with Swift. It was awesome. It was always,
one
like...
of the saddest endings to a kid's show, too. Like, the season finale to that is fucking depressing.
Jeepers. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, he dies. He just kind of...
Yeah.
Obi-Wan dies.
Spoilers.
David the Gnome.
David the Gnome
dies. Right. Well, now, like, that makes him even more metal, because you're not a hero unless you die.
Are we on the gnomes?
I'm talking about, I was talking about my bias towards stunty races for a long time in fantasy, like how I didn't like them, except for one exception being David the Gnome from the Nickelodeon cartoon. I always thought he was awesome. And I did like Frodo and the old like cartoon Hobbit. I freaking love that shit. Especially the orc song where there's a whip, there is a way. I thought that we don't wanna go to work today, but the Lord of the Lash says nay, nay, nay. I thought that was the most metal shit ever when I was a kid. I'm like, hell, fuck yeah, throwing up the horns. I'm like 6, like throwing up the horns, watching The Hobbit, like.
Like, that's the most metal shit you could do.
Yeah, the Lord of the Lash says nay, nay, nay. So good. It was so good. This is if I had any audio talent, I would like edit in a track that is legally safe to not get a copyright infringement, so you could hear how awesome that song was. So instead, I'm gonna tell you guys to go listen to it right now. I'll wait. All right, welcome back. Wasn't that awesome? So good.
It was the best. I listened to it like 3 times during that wait. It was great.
Loved it.
Yeah,
Big
fantastic.
fan.
Fantastic. So yeah, we kind of talked about like your Slaanesh aesthetic. I don't really have to go into like the aesthetics I love, because everyone knows I'm all about the bones and vampires and death. You know, like always into that. Maybe I'll get into it a little bit later, but for now I want to talk to Jarid, because when I asked you kind of before we went live here, I asked you like, well, you know, what's that army that really resonates with you? What is that? Do you have like the one army? Because I think most people tend to have their army. Eventually you find it, you know, you may not always have it. Like I think there's like even some competitive players out there where like they kind of like, you know, they've got to keep up with the meta, so they tend to like, you know, play what's rotating through the meta, and they go, you know, when that one army rotates back in, they're like, fuck yeah, you know, like, I think Brendan, I just described Brendan, like he'll play Slaanesh when Slaanesh is like the most viable, like he wants to play ogres secretly a lot, and you know when death is like at the top tables, then he's super content, because he loves his death armies. But like he's not averse to playing Tzeentch if Tzeentch rotates into fashion or whatever it is, and I think that's fine, that's fair. I've never bashed anyone for meta chasing or trying to be competitive. That's never been my take, never will be. Everyone enjoys the game their own way, but I do think that regardless of your level of competition, you still have that like army. And man, when you said like, no, I got like one of everything, I'm like, what? It's just kind of like my brain like just kind of like short circuited a little bit. So you want to take me through that a little bit and take Jack Gang through that a little bit?
Yeah, I have a hobby ADD, I think, and I've started, especially over 2020, I really started getting into, into conversions. So, like, my main armies have always been dwarves. So I love my dwarf armies, just to kind of talk about that. KO really spoke to me, but right now I haven't been playing them much, weirdly enough, because they are kind of big in the meta, and it kind of bothers me then for some reason. I don't know why.
I understand this.
You gotta be special. I get it.
No, the snowflake power. You gotta be a unique snowflake, and it's not fun when you're not.
Mm-hmm.
If everyone knows it's good. If Beast of Chaos gets good, go ahead. Yeah, if Beast of Chaos gets good suddenly, like I'm just not gonna want to play. I'm like, ugh, I don't want to take these guys off the shelf now because everyone's playing them. Gross. Like I liked playing them when it was like cheeky good to play them. I don't like playing them when they're awesome. But go on. Sorry, I cut you off like 4 times there.
No, that's fine. The other thing, like then when you play them, and if you win, it's like, oh well, you won because you're playing the top army. Like I don't want to do that. I want to play them because I enjoy playing them. But so KO's always
take the wind out of your sails, even if you've been playing that army. I was like, but I liked that before.
Yeah, I played KO since they came out. I took them to every major tournament. It was just over this past year. I kind of got tired of them for how much I played, how hard I played. So I really got into conversions. And I have 3 big conversion armies. One that's finished up, and that's the one that I showed you guys was the gnomes. And then I have 2 I'm working on right now.
Well, talk about the gnomes real quick for Chat Gang here, because they
didn't even see it.
So what are these gnomes?
Yeah, I'll post some stuff on Twitter too, but I can kind of, if anyone can see video and stuff, I'll post them up too. So I always thought that it kind of started for anyone that does all 5 people that listen to the Own 5 podcast. We decided, we were talking about the one that like, what's a race that isn't really represented at Age of Sigmar? And we said gnomes. I mean, gnomes just aren't in. It's a classic fantasy race, and it's not really represented in Age of Sigmar. So we jokingly called it timepiece gnomes, and it would be like super clockwork gnomes on DMT, and they actually had like modern day weapons just for fun, but they weren't really useful, and just a lot of color and glit and glamour. So I, weirdly enough, and I'll kind of show it on camera here, and obviously my camera sucks, but I'll post it up on Twitter too.
This one's rocking bagpipes. It's got like the big hooked nose.
Yeah, yeah. If you green stuff green stuff little beards on night goblins, and then paint them flesh tones, they look like gnomes. They have all the same stuff. They have the cloaks with the like kind of semi-peaked hooded hats and stuff like that, and they work out like perfectly for gnomes. So I did a Boingrot Bounders list. Actually, this is the one with the shotgun. Let's see if I can. Yeah. So I did a Boingrot Bounders list, and I added little green stuffed beards onto all of them. So I made my gnome list.
That's amazing.
And it's all on squigs. The squigs are all different colors. I tried to make each squig something different with a theme. So I did like red, white, and blue squig, and I called him the Gnome Lander. Or like the Flesh Knight was the one that was like the skin colored testicle squig. So
I mean, testicle squig has such a better ring to it, though. Like,
yeah, testicle squig, perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
Good call on those
that was my
maulers.
That was one of my first conversion armies. That, along with, and this goes into a little bit what we were talking about before with Eldritch Horror. I always liked Nurgle, but I didn't originally like the aesthetic, and I always loved like Cthulhu and everything. So I did a mainly Blight Kings list, and fully modified them all out to be Cthulhu-y. So my Glotkin actually has the Cthulhu face, and I green stuffed the tentacles and everything on, and my Great Unclean One's the Reaper Bones Dagon model and all that kind of stuff. So
do you leave in all the gross, like all the pustules and stuff like that, or do you like take those down or green stuff around them?
So I keep some of them, or what I found is if you paint them like eyeballs instead of pustules, or green stuff them to look like eyeballs, it fits really well.
Yeah, that's metal. That's actually pretty cool.
You get the more so the
grant us eyes. Yeah, like okay.
Oh, that's gonna get like straight into a Bloodborne feel. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
So the feculent gnarl maw, I have 3 of them. On one of them, I took like it's got those pods in the 3 spots. I ground those down and made it 3 huge eyeballs in the middle of it. So it's like a fuck, what's the one thing? The Demon Sultan or whatever, the Azathoth, to try and make each one kind of look like an Azathoth or a Shaggoth or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that, or a couple of them I kept the little pustules in, but just painted them all up so they look like eyes. Basically, wherever there's pustules, you can make them into eyes pretty easily.
That's pretty cool.
With either paint or just a little bit of green stuff.
That's actually really cool.
You're making me want to get a Nurgle army just to do this now.
Dude, and Nurgle already has a lot of tentacle aesthetic.
Yeah.
And it lends really well to it. I shave off a lot of the fly stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, yeah. And then a lot of rust patterns, so you can go into the water feel and then go into like fishmen for bears.
Yeah, like deep ones, like the classic sort of Cthulhian deep ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and I made my what's the Demon Herald for Nurgle? I forget, the Plague something. I made that into the King in Yellow.
Oh,
just one of those ones. So I'll post up some pictures, and I don't have them with me. But then my 2 other conversion armies that I'm currently working on, I'm doing a Chamonite OBR, so metal.
The bone one, yeah.
The
metal one, yeah.
Instead of bone. And I'm following. So have you ever heard of SCPs or SCP Foundation, like the little short stories?
Yeah, I love those.
There's one called the Church of the Broken God, where it's like a mechanical church that follows like a mechanical being, like a mechanical god that they say is broken. Yeah. I tried to theme it all onto that, so I did a lot of cogs. Here, I know this kind of sucked for don't have video, but just a couple of conversion stuff, like I did.
Frank here going, metal OBR, huh? Because he's got a metal.
Yeah, Necrons.
Oh,
I made Necrons.
Shit! Look at that.
But just like a lot of cogs and stuff, And then for a Bone Tide Nexus was the biggest conversion.
So for those of you that didn't get to see that, he actually essentially has like the Archon the Black model, and he's got the cogs, the chronomatic cogs are what props it in the air, as opposed to the sort of weird on its own spindly bits. So it's a really cool conversion. Plus, then he's got a metallic sort of Necron style vibe to it with the even like green glowing energy, like the Necron gauze energy. So.
And then my Bone Tide Nexus I actually made out of
yes,
the Stargate, the Chaos Stargate.
Yeah.
I forget what that thing's called, but I just know it as the Chaos Stargate from 40K.
No, it's Zafagate. It goes fog. Get it? We're not getting sued for this one.
It is the Fargate.
It's the Fargate. We can get free cable. Yeah.
And then the last conversion army I was doing was I wanted to fuck around with Stormcast for fun.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I found, one of the fun joke armies of 40K that never transferred over into AOS, and I was kind of sad by
Angry Marines?
Angry Marines.
I knew you were going that way. Yeah.
So I made Ragecast Eternals.
He's got the middle finger. He's got the middle finger up. Keep out.
Oh, I saw this on Instagram.
Yeah. So I have them all fucked up, all different heads, instead of like power fists or something, just as ridiculous as humanly possible for Stormcast guys. So that's what I'm doing for them. The story behind them basically is they got reforged too many times, and now they're just
angry,
completely batshit insane. Yeah.
Those dickheads now.
So that's
the dick doesn't work.
Yeah. So what I like to do, what kind of 2020 made me learn about myself and armies and stuff is, if I don't like an aesthetic but I like a play style, I'm going to convert that army into something that speaks to me. And I think it kind of gets around, at least for me, it gets around that, well, I don't really like the way these models look. I'm going to make the models look the way I want them to now. So I can kind of play a little more into my play style while still having something close to home.
So you kind of choose to sort of infuse your aesthetic into an army that you like the play style of, or even like a meme army idea that you're like, I gotta make that, and then that'll be the joy of it. Do you consider yourself like a great hobby? Looking at your stuff, I think it looks pretty great from what I can tell. Like you mentioned, your crappy camera, but you don't consider yourself a great hobbyist. How do you
personally don't.
How do you throw yourself into that? Like, because I think one thing is that, like, people kind of tend to pick an army that they already like the aesthetic of, and that way they don't have to. I mean, I'm just talking about myself here. Like, I love the OBR aesthetic out the box, so I'm like, they're already like Pan-Asian samurai skeletons. That's what my conversion idea would be. I don't need to touch that. One of the struggles I think for a lot of people is like they don't consider themselves a great hobbyist. How do you just like go like, screw it, I'm gonna do this? Like, where does that come from?
So I'll say from a mental standpoint, and just I think anyone can do that. So I don't think you have to necessarily be a really good hobbyist to start dabbling in conversions. And I think so. I started learning some from a lot of my friends and stuff in terms of like little things that they picked up. Some of the best conversions are the smallest conversion pieces. So it might just be something small adding to the model. And the more you do that, the more it builds up. And
so like a beard. So like just doing a beard on your gnomes. Yeah, like or on your goblins, right?
Like really realistically, I'm not changing much of the model on my gnomes. I added a beard, and then the real conversion part to that is, let's paint them fucking weird. What happens if I make this thing that's classically supposed to be this color instead? And you try one. If it works out and it looks kind of cool, do another couple. I don't think you have to be an amazing hobbyist to really push yourself to do some neat conversions. I think it's a lot of get an idea and look at bits and try to look at kits in terms of bits, not as kits themselves. And I think you can really come up with some neat stuff that way.
Yeah, cool. Mars, you do some pretty great conversion work yourself too. I know you had the Void Dragon. It looked like the base there that you're working on.
Yeah.
You had Teclis's face on it. How do you just like saw some dude's face off and throw it out? Like, what's the mentality when you go into that? for doing some sweet conversions, and because you pretty much had to scratch build your vampire army that you had going there for a while. A lot of your vampires.
Yeah.
So you had to also inject your aesthetic. How do you approach that?
I don't know who gave me this advice, but they said just cut it. Just do it. I was like, oh, okay, and I kind of just took that dart. Like, well, I'm gonna cut it, and like I'm already kit bashing. Like I can't fuck it up more than what I'm gonna do to it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like kind of see all the models. Like I know people put like, oh, I spent money on this. It's expensive. Like I don't want to ruin this, but I'm like, I'm already gonna paint it, which is probably gonna ruin it anyway. So what's one more thing at this point?
Yeah, Tristan's in here like you just break, just fuck it. Like he just, I think he's trying to say like you just do it. He's got some fantastic conversions there. I saw Travis, Kicker's still here in chat. If you've seen, he put the wreck, the IDK wreck back together, green stuffed in the planks, like actually like green stuffed in the planks and stuff to fill it back in and make it a complete boat again. For his Vampirates army, and I guess he's trying to track down Clown Nagash to be like at the helm, piloting it, and that's gonna be his like either his Nagash for a Staliarch Lord's army, and like so like there's some awesome conversions I see going around in this, and one of those things where like I have that mental barrier. I'm like, well, this is already made by a professional artist. What am I gonna do that makes it better? So I've got that mental hang up. Do you have an advice for like me just getting over that?
I personally I want to make my stuff stand out and look different, because it sucks when you go up to a mirror match and like, oh, that's the same thing I'm playing again. Like it looks the same. I want mine to be different. I want it to be mine. So I'll just say, it helps make it yours instead of just painting it. It adds a little bit of your flair to it.
Yeah, Jared.
People don't give themselves enough credit for how artistic they can really be. Like, and I think like just what you said there was a big note, and I think you have to build up that confidence of, well, I know that this is a professional artist or something that modified this, but they did it based off their image, and I kind of want something that's based off my image.
Yeah.
So it's not saying yours is better than theirs or yours is, maybe GW should have picked up your model instead of their model. No, it's just this is my take on what this is, because I had an idea in my head and I wanted to make it out of something. Some people put pen to paper and write stories, and a lot of people don't write good stories. I'm sure everyone's read fan fiction out there that's fucking terrible, but it's something they gave that's part of themselves, and it's artistic and they like it, and that's what's important, man.
I mean,
if you're doing it for someone else, it's not worth it.
Well, there's to tie this into, we've had like a Star Wars subplot tonight, just because I know Mars is a Star Wars guy here.
That's putting it lightly.
The expanded universe. I read a bunch of the books in middle school, and I remember when the sort of like the latest, what is it, with Rey and Finn. I can't remember what the new line was called.
The sequels?
Force Awakens, I guess. The sequels and stuff like that. One of the big criticisms folks like me had was that they essentially took the EU, said, no, fuck the EU, none of that like exists, and then they like cherry-picked stuff from the EU and made that their plot, and I'm just like, shake fist, super mad. But the EU, to tie this into fan-made and fanfic, the EU was fanfic. Boba Fett's novels were fanfic. He had...
Oh, there's no way around.
Did he have a spoken fucking line in the original, like the original trilogy? I remember asking my friend Sam, because like I didn't get it. He maybe grunted or had a Wilhelm scream when he gets thrown into the Sarlacc pit by Luke Skywalker. But like,
yeah, I don't think there's actual a single line.
No. And my friend Sam was like, because my friend Sam was a huge Boba Fett fan, and I'm like, why do you like Boba Fett? And I remember in Rifts, there's 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 a armor that looks like Mandalorian armor. It's in the Merc book, appropriately. I'm like, why do you like him? And he's like, because he looks sweet. And one time Vader points at him and says, no disintegrations, and I thought that was awesome. And I'm like, this is the most nerd reason to like something ever. And now look, we got like the Mandalorian later, but some fan saw Boba Fett, said that looks sweet, and Vader told him not to disintegrate crap, and that makes him sound like he's sweet. So they went out and they wrote a fiction story about how he blows up his backpack to escape the Sarlacc pit, and he's still alive, kicking ass and like bounty hunting throughout the galaxy, and that was like the EU take on Boba Fett. And like, clearly he was such a fan favorite that the prequels are like, oh yeah, we got to throw in where Boba Fett comes from, because the prequels were all about telling you how the ice cream became ice cream. They couldn't just let you eat the fucking ice cream. To steal Patton Oswalt joke.
Well, I mean, I'm all about the prequels, so
I'm just joking, man. No, I don't want to yuck anyone's like yum when it comes to the prequels. But the real
the best yum.
Sure.
Thank you. I wanted on record. Math today said yes, they're the best.
I said sure dismissively.
I'm refusing to acknowledge your dismissiveness.
All right, that's fine. That's
you could have the same kind of thing with Biggs Darklighter too. He was kind of big in the extended universe, and all he was originally supposed to be in the original movies, and he got cut out. Like the one scene that was supposed to have Biggs Darklighter got cut out.
Yeah.
So like, but he was a huge force in the EU.
Yeah, and I mean the point is that like somebody loved something they saw so much so that they had to like inject that and infuse that into the world. And you zoom out a little bit, like, yeah, it might have been crappy fan fiction, glorified fan fiction, really. That's all the EU was. And I don't mean this as an insult. I mean this as high praise.
Was written,
I mean,
like, fantastic.
I mean, trying to keep track of everything in the EU, like, it was not very well curated.
Sure.
So, like, yeah, it was like just going to a fan fiction website and trying to just navigate like a cohesive story out of it all.
Right. But what I'm saying now is like we've got like the Mandalorian, and like it is the culmination of all that fan fiction. Like Jon Favreau is just, why does the Mandalorian work? He doesn't write it to sell Star Wars crap. It's already going to sell. Like he doesn't, do it to appeal to any sort of like thing other than the fact that he's a fan writing a show for fans. And like the fan service is almost gratuitous at times. But
Boba Fett fight scene.
Oh no!
Awesome.
Well, Boba Fett. No. The freaking stormtroopers on the speeders at like either the end of season 1 or the beginning of season 2. They're sitting there on the fucking speeders, and they're just like got the droid piece there. They're like shooting at it, and they keep missing it. Like, sight must be off or something like that. I'm like, come on.
Fanfic movies are hilarious. I was just watching on TikTok or so. I think it was on TikTok or something, but it was all the stormtroopers at the bar afterwards, and they basically treated the Death Star like 9/11. It was fucking hilarious.
Oh god! Oh, I saw something like that forever ago on YouTube.
It was an inside job so that they could get us on Hoth. That's all it was.
Oh, I remember. What wasn't that on YouTube like forever ago?
Yeah. I think so.
Oh, I remember that.
Awesome.
That's so great.
All I'm saying is.
Yeah. Starts with like hushed tones, like get real worked up. Yeah, I love
Jesus,
it.
He's going into this again.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the point I was making is like you think that it's just silly, your silly fan spin, or that you're not making something professional, you're not making something great or lasting, but like all of these little injections of yourself into the game of Age of Sigmar, for me, it is a very apt metaphor, fan fiction of something established that you think is better or bigger than you, and then you look, 10 years later, I think most people are in Age of Sigmar for the long haul, or Warhammer for the long haul. Maybe you're just a hobbyist in general. You'd be surprised where that'll take you in, 5 years or a couple years, and I say you'd be surprised how vampires are about to come out just out of the sheer will of the fandom right now. Like if they didn't have like vampires ready to go, certainly the rallying cry. They're like, oh crap, we got to get on making vampires because the longer we don't make them, the less net money we make. Because
I'm pretty sure like it wasn't a thing, and then like it slowly started building up, and like, oh, maybe that should be the next thing we start making and releasing.
Yeah,
seems like strike when the iron's hot. They really want it, so let's just get it going.
yeah. No,
That's what I'm doing with gnomes.
Yeah, this is what you're doing with gnomes, and
gnomes are next now.
It's coming.
Heard it here tonight.
Coming.
This is where it starts. Gnomes are coming.
Yeah. We gotta get it. We gotta get a catchy
Games Workshop.
I gotta talk to Tom and have him come up with a catchy like hashtag for gnomes, like you did vampirates.
Yeah.
It'd be like, I don't know, gnome mercy or something like that. Like I don't know.
Gnome mercy. Gnomes.
I don't know. No. So infusing and injecting thing, and there is, I do think, a need for doing this with Age of Sigmar, which is kind of where I'm going with all of this, because it is such a blank canvas, and I think I talked with Vince about it. I've brought it up on just random streams when I'm just like, not recording for a podcast or anything like that. Like, Age of Sigmar doesn't get weird enough. They've kind of been playing it safe with traditional fantasy races, elf dwarves, humans in armor. Like, it's pretty straightforward. And to an extent, they have their certain sensibilities and their aesthetics they gotta do. You're gonna have your Khorne warriors. That's the classic like Chaos Warriors is Citadel iconic. Like, it is their DNA. They have to check some of those boxes. But right now, I'm looking at the game and I'm like, I think you've kind of checked them all. You got to get Soulblight out. I think you're missing, I think, one more dwarf faction. Is in terms of like boxes that just need to be checked. But then you've got about 8 more armies. If you want to, I use a hypothetical number of like 30. You've got about 8 more armies then to fill in. And this is where I want to see them get really weird with it. I feel like we could have another orc army or have a relaunch of like Savage Orcs and stuff like that. Like just updated sculpts could, really, for me, getting orcs updated is really about putting them in the realms, which is, I think, something they do really well with Lumineth Realm Lords. Love or hate elves, they do a really good job of like, look at this guy on like a mountain that's kind of weird, and this one's riding a freaking cloud, like, because.
And that's a very good point. That makes me like, the orcs are all about like the realms and being in nature and everything, but they feel very disconnected. Like even like the ogres are being chased by like the Everfrost,
Everwinter, yeah.
Everyone, like, they still feel disconnected from the realms that they're in compared to the Lumineth, who really should not be as close as they are compared to like the people living out in it.
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty much reserved to the one weird flighty realm, right? Like like Hish or whatever. Like they're kind of like there, but like orcs, like you just go to a Chaman, you like where are the metal ass orcs, right? Like where are the action orcs where they're like wearing like salamander leather and like flamacorn hide or whatever the heck made up thing would exist in Akshi. Star camels that are just erupting starbursts of camelness, like whatever the random weird species. What was it? Like Gurren Lagann has just the really stupid weird animals in it. Like, where are the weird stupid animals of it, like represented on their bases? It's nice. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think Destruction's like poised in a very, very good spot to just get real weird with it and have like a variety of creatures and sculpts, especially with the orcs. Like, those just tame fucking everything.
Yeah, the Savage Orcs in particular are the one where I'm like, where are these living in like Gur with Gur beast hides all over them? Like, where is all of that? And obviously we have this aesthetic thing we've been talking about. Dear viewer, do that now. I hope I've inspired you. But like Games Workshop, come on, like where is that? It's cool when you put like a Sigmar helmet indented on the mason chain on the Goblin Fanatic. That's really awesome. But like,
it was pretty cool.
More of that, but then also more of living in your realms, because that's what I really want to see.
That's why I think gnomes need to happen. and go into destruction. I think just because I feel gnomes are more of a psychotic, sadistic kind of animal, and it would add to destruction the high tech element that isn't like everything about destruction right now. Realistically, is very primal, very like earthen, like in that kind of nature almost feel like rigorous nature, realm of beasts. Bring in gnomes, and you've got the high tech. You've got that metal, that oblong creational vast destruction. That real like planetary destruction kind of
I
feel.
think it could be like easily from Chaman with all the metal. Yeah. Oh, that'd be really cool.
Tech
Side
pieces.
Note, my D&D world, all gnomes are psychotic people like that.
They
So
absolutely should be.
Yeah. That's how I picture gnome.
Absolutely should be.
Well, even the WoW gnome is like kind of like they're kind of like nuts with like Gadget Zan and stuff. Like they're like totally crazy, and like all the old like tinkered devices that they've made that have gone crazy and are trying to murder you forever. Like even gnomes are pretty bonkers that way. And that I think there's a core of like being bonkers and destructive to gnome. What has become the general gnome mythos, the sort of meta understanding of what a gnome is for fantasy. And Age of Sigmar is, for me, is the place where fantasy comes to get turned up to 11. You know, it's the
like Skaven feels like it's on the precipice of that. Like Skaven's that, but more like.
I feel like gnomes would be a good like
counterpoint to Skaven.
Dark mirrors. Yeah,
100%. I like where you're going with this.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, gnomes is a dark mirror to Skaven. Yeah, yeah, like that. Like I think Skaven already are at like 11. I think they can be turned up to 13 because they need to go further still because they've always been aesthetically like they went further than anything in their time period, but like they're not like far enough now.
I feel like people are catching up to them now.
Yeah,
they haven't moved, and then everybody's.
And if we want to circle this back to the political talk from the previous RantCast, obviously.
Well, I mean,
Skaven actually, if you read a lot of the stories, Skaven are very fascistic. Like the culture of Skaven is hugely rooted in fascism, and like stealing people's ideas and everything. So if you take gnomes and make them hardcore, like communistic psychotic, of just like hordes of shit, and everyone gets stuff, that'd be fantastic as an antithesis.
Get what you want and just figure out how to make it work. Let's go, baby.
You just make it fucking work. Everyone's equal.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, not at the same
time.
Yeah,
like viciously equal. Like they're viciously equal. So like
viciously equal.
Someone build something a little bit bigger. Me knock you down a little bit.
Yeah.
Same size as everybody. We all have the same amount of components.
I got a couple.
One kit that you make into 12 different things.
Yeah, I got a few comments here from chat gang. Feel like vampires are coming. Humans must be on the heels with like witch hunters. I mean that's your box, right? You could have your witch hunter versus vampires. That's cool. Let's see what the Church of Sigmar looks like. Something we've all wanted is like, what do regular humans, not just the throwback cities of Sigmar. Like, yeah, it's cool that you get to play with your old toys, but like, you mean to tell me that it's been literal thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and the humans are still rocking the same fabulous cod pieces and feathers in their caps that they were from the old world? Come on, what do?
It's an 80s metal band cover that just happens to have a bunch of like Germans in it for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, that's the city's armies. It's like, oh, we've got a dude that's in full plate armor, and he's the soul of a dead dude, and he dies and becomes the soul of a dead dude. And they got lightning, and they ride a cat. Yeah. And then what are the humans they're protecting? Oh, Sven. And Johan over here with a mug of something, and he likes poofy clothes.
Yeah. You know, if I was living in that world as a human and I saw fucking Stormcast Eternals with all the technology, and I'm sitting there as Sven, I'd be questioning, why the fuck do I worship Sigmar? I'm sitting here in a goddamn mud hut. You got these gold-ass warriors jumping down in lightning. Wow. What's happening?
Well, that's where
I just got armor made out of gold that could feed me for a year and a Yeah.
Well, we started to get the Devoted to Sigmar a little bit and stuff like that. Like, and I just want them to do that now that they have a better feel. I don't think they had like an amazing feel for where Age of Sigmar was going back then.
Yeah.
I think they do now. And so, like, I want to see what those mortal populations really are like. Not, by all means, Cities of Sigmar, play with your old toys. Like, cool, everyone should get to play with their stuff. Like, that's, one of my tenets. But, like, what is this Church of Sigmar, these witch hunter, elf hunter, or not elf hunters, these witch hunter,
Elf
what...
Hunter's okay.
Elf hunters, okay, yeah. I was thinking, sorry, Slaanesh on the brain. What does that look like? The next dwarf army is gnomes. Well, I'm liking where we're going with it being a destruction army. I like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Manzak says I would have. Go ahead.
Commune gnomes. There you
All right.
go.
I really like this idea.
No, this is great. Manzak Mini says I would have preferred gnomes be a thing that KO are, as the great inventor tinkerers, and dwarves be the mountain grudge bearing rune golem stuff.
Well,
I'm happy. I could see that. I agree, but I'm happy KO exists the way they do.
Yeah,
I like the hyper capitalist space like privateers. Like I think that's really that are dwarves with like machine gun mustaches, and like I think that shit's really cool.
I
Like
like how
they have
switched
beard
up that
guns.
Dwarf idea. Like,
Well, they're
clearly dwarves, but they're
Yeah.
not traditional in any way, and I
Well-
like that.
Well, they took the greed and the grudge in it, and they reimagined it, because the dwarven greed. What would that look like? They're grudges, like they have declarations of independence for
Yeah.
their cities, like, and each one of them has it. They write in their hatred and their grudges of people
Yeah.
into their declarations and stuff like that, or their constitutions.
Contracted.
Yeah, like it's
contracted,
here in the rules, like they're like I like that, and dwarves have always kind of had a little bit of the inventor thing too. Like I feel like the dwarf
Yeah.
got fractured into gnome to be that, and they kind of lost some of their inventor identity, but they've always had the forges and like great architects, and to see that advance, like what's the natural,
Martin Luther over here with his fun. He's just checking.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to see that. Grotbag Scullers say what? I mean, yeah, like we could do that. Like I'm cool with that showing up. Seraphon need to be taken to 11 too. The premise already is. The models just aren't.
Yeah, the models. I think that's really what holds them back.
Like they
the
need
models.
go watch Stargate and redo those sculpts. Like
I mean, like, so just touching on that Cthulhu thing that we're eventually going to get to, it's like I feel like the way they're written is almost they're unknown. Like nobody really knows what the fuck they're up to or
Right.
what their plan is. They're unknowable. There's some force compared to everybody else.
Yeah.
But I think their sculpts are really
Space
lacking.
Crawler.
Like, yeah, and their
It's so
sculpts really lack though. Like it's not enough tentacles for the Cthulhu thing, and they kind of look very derpy with their older stuff. I'm like, I can't take that. I know it's gonna kill me, but I'm not taking it seriously.
No.
I think
Yeah.
everyone's here. Everyone's on board with our destruction gnomes now.
I want this. I want this to take off.
Yes.
Hashtag gnome mercy.
No mercy. Yep. It's coming.
But while we're throwing out like really wish listy things, I'm hoping the vampire hunters are actually a part of death, and they're just chaos hunters with death, like a human death team
That'd
up
be kinda
type
neat.
thing. I think that would be really cool.
Well, I've been wanting the book. Every book that you have that's on any of the death factions talks about how like the living cohabitate with the dead in Shaiish.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a really cool premise where like you're living with Grandpa, like the ghost of Grandpa and shit, and like you're just like still there, like hanging out in Shaiish, because like that's like all the various like planes when people die in the mortal realms, like they all kind of end up in they all go to Shaiish, and like but there's also like what are the natives like, because like there's native mortals there too, and to imagine like you living with your ancestors, and like because death, as you said earlier on, isn't really the end point for almost any of these any of the factions or any of the grand alliances, and imagining like what would an army look like if it's got like the sort of Cities of Sigmar dark reflection Shaiish version of it, not and then like also like partying with ghosts and skeletons. Like, what would that be?
So like that's what I think. Like the witch, it would be like the classic witch hunter, except for with that whole like crossbow belt fed fucking stake shooter.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
go out and hunt chaos, but then you got like maybe like the vampires have like a bloodlust rule, and like they help control that by like staking them in the heart or some shit. I don't know, but I thought it'd be really cool for like seeing them pair up together like that.
That would be cool. And
Yeah.
even with like Van Helsing, that movie that is super underrated.
That movie's amazing.
Where he's
The Hugh Jackman one?
yeah, the Hugh Jackman one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean it's
Amazing
basically
is a
great.
strong word.
it's amazing. It's
I
amazing.
like.
Look.
I always say this. I
I'm
like
not
the
gonna say I
movie
don't like it.
Zombie Beavers. I love the movie Zombie
wow,
Beavers,
Okay,
and
I
that's
see where
a
you're at.
C movie.
Mm.
Easy.
Look,
I'm
there's
not saying I
nothing
have
wrong-
good taste.
No, there is absolutely nothing wrong with some solid C movies. I'm on like a full. I think Amazon Prime is perfect for C movies right now because
Oh.
they have so many good shit
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah, they do. I remember back in the day, that's what Netflix was for. It was like all that shit.
Yeah.
Or
movies.
when they still mailed you
Oh, dude.
DVDs.
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
sorry. To this day, one of my favorites is Nazis at the Center of the Earth.
Oh yeah, fuck! I forgot about
Amazing
that movie.
movie.
Yeah.
Great.
Amazing movie.
Yeah.
You want to know? You want to know the selling part for that movie for me? They
Was
take a
it that there were
pregnant
Nazis?
scientist-
That was it. Was
No.
it wasn't that there was Nazis at the center of the. That wasn't the selling point.
That's just a brisk brush over
That-
the
that-
amazing.
that's what opens the door. That's not what gets you in.
Yeah.
Oh no, you want to sit on the couch? Let me tell you something. When they take a vacuum to suck out a fetus out of a scientist so that they can use the DNA to revive Hitler's head and put it on a mechanical spider, that's where we're going.
Mm.
C movies are the best movies. They don't have fear about
amazing.
doing anything.
Hmm.
Like, you got an
Busey
idea?
was the A-level
Throw it in.
actor in that movie, and I loved it.
Amazing. Amazing.
Oh, the Mummy.
Yeah.
I love the Mummy movies. Those were
Great.
amazing. I did not see the last one. The last one without all that the original cast, but the
Yeah.
first three, mwah, love them.
Yeah, no, like that's when I like Van Helsing and The Mummy are in the same category. Just dumb popcorn fun movies, like amazing. Like it's a fireworks display where you like some movies. This is. I can't stop harping on this. Nerds need to lighten up about everything. We just like look. I love stuff probably more passionately than just about anybody out there, or as passionately as anybody out there. Like I have a show all about me just flying off the handle and like talking too much about things that I enjoy. So like trust me, dear nerd out there. I get you. I get it. But like we do need to lighten up about it and just like remember to enjoy our shit. Like we just like and let other people enjoy it because you have good taste because you like the things you like and you are awesome. So shouldn't you then by extension via the transitive property of awesome think people who like the things that you like are awesome and therefore like them liking them? Like it's just cyclical and it makes sense. Like
Just get back to enjoying what you enjoy.
yeah, we get like Star Wars is like the ultimate example of this because it's like overthinking Star Wars a little bit too much. Like I get it. I'm disappointed in certain aspects of Star Wars too, like hit or miss, and I can debate what I don't like about Rogue One with people out there who's like Rogue One's the best Star Wars. But like here's
That's
the
not
thing.
best. That's episode 3. It's okay.
Hang on. Might get there. But like I can debate somebody who says it's the best movie and disagree with them, but why do I have to? You know, like that's the like why do I have to like why do I and I'm asking this philosophically openly because like I have this thing in me that I'm trying to be a better person. Somebody like mentioned Cthulhian stuff on one of my Twitter posts yesterday and I'm like I'm not here to debate Lovecraft with you. Like Lovecraft is like pretty widely understood to be a racist. Like whether he named the cat or not is totally beside the point of whether he was a racist or not. That doesn't mean he's fucking dead. If you buy a Cthulhu novel, he's not getting your money and he's not in turn becoming, you know, expanding his platform to be a bigger racist, J.K. Rowling. Sorry. He's not doing that. You're not doing that. Like, you don't have to, like, have a crisis of conscience. Anyway, I digress about that. But why would I have to debate somebody if they like something and I disagree with it. Like, yeah, whatever. I have takes on why I don't like Rogue One. If you care to hear them, sure, I can share them. But why, when as a nerd I see someone say Rogue One is the best one, does that thing go off in my brain like, oh, they're wrong on the internet, and I gotta tell them why they're wrong, and now I need to insult their nerdery because they're not true nerds, because if they were true nerds, they'd know how bad their take is. Where the fuck does that come from with us? Why do we have that, and why can't we just stop it and just get back to loving shit? Because, like...
It's an internal collective. You need to... It's something that you personally are taking seriously. And as soon as you take something seriously, which you shouldn't for stuff that you enjoy. If it's something you should enjoy, just enjoy it. But as soon as you start taking it seriously, you start personally trying to become an expert at that thing. When you're an expert at something, that means other people are wrong at their take if it's separate from what yours is. No one should be an expert at what they're a nerd at. It should just be something you enjoy.
See, that's kind of a spicy take right there in and of itself. You didn't say it with the fire of a hot take, but that was a hot take.
I don't have those feelings that you have. Like, I make jokes about people being wrong about things. But
Yeah, no, I get it.
Ultimately, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, I'm not changing your mind, and you're sure the hell ain't changing my mind. So
yeah,
I'm not wasting my time. I like Slaanesh. It's the best, and that's the end of it.
Right.
If you don't agree, you can die wrong for all I care.
Huh. Is it, no, I like that. No, it's funny. It derailed me, and then I checked the chat gang here. But I don't know. Like, we always like get hung up in this like analysis of like nerd shit, and it's like it's fun to do that. Like I like puzzles. I like thinking about stuff. Like, this is something I enjoy. The part for me that I think where we take it too seriously, to your point, Jared, is especially when we start kind of shitting on other people. That for me is just that starts to become the no-fly zone. Sometimes, like, if we're sharing a beer and we're hanging out, I'm like, hell yeah, let's shoot the shit. Let's do that. If that's the kind of thing that they want to have the conversation about. But again, you got to have the humor with it. If you're taking it too seriously, you're not having fun with it. If you're not having fun with it, why are we doing this?
And I think that actually plays in. So this is a kind of a personal feeling that I've had, especially on the competitive side, especially something like this in games, where you'll see very much. Obviously, there are certain armies that are top tier, top of the meta. There's certain armies that are towards the bottom of the tier. But I go to my FLGS a lot, and the owner a lot of times, newer players will come to us in the club or something and say, I want to get into this. What army should I get into? And if you do say the typical corny, well, just play what you like. Everyone kind of like makes fun of you for it because that's not 100% true.
No, it's not. It can be misleading.
Yeah, but I think when you look at something like that, even an army that is C grade, I think in the hands of someone that actually cares about the army, learns the ins and outs, and the play style behind it, and if it's a play style they enjoy or they can make themselves enjoy, that player is going to be 10 times better than many others out there. Like, it's the player that makes the army the thing. So you got to get into something that you're into. If you're not into an army and you're just playing it because it's, for instance, and I'll just because we're talking about Slaanesh, when it was like top of the tournament scene for months, or Daughters of Cain, where they're top of the tournament scene for months. If you're playing that and you're not
Gears.
My first army was DOK when it was at the top. That's how I got in this game. And I picked it up and played at my friendly store. People were like, "Oh, it's an OP army." First army I never played before. Like, "Oh, you're just trying to win." Like, okay, so I switched from there to Slaanesh when they're at the top. They're like, "Oh, you're just trying to win." I'm like, "Fuck, man!" Picking things I like.
And that's what you should do. If you're picking something because it's at the top of the tier, you're going to win some games. But at the end of the day, you're not going to play it for very long, and you're not going to get very good at it. I think in many circumstances.
Well, no armies.
I feel like you have to have a connection to it.
Well, yeah, and no army stays on top forever except for DOK. Like, no army stays on top forever. I'm shit on DOK. I really don't care. Love you, Chuck. Like, I hope you watch this one. your army's OP and you know it. No,
Oh, God.
no,
He's funny to watch.
it's funny to make fun of him now because like he's wasn't in the army because it was OP, and now he's like, ooh, snakes, and he's just like he's looking at all these other ways, salivating at all the other ways his army just got some like extra gas for building, and he's still gonna play Kraith.
I know. You got the teleporting one, which is so much cooler. That's the one I used all the time.
No, Kraith is not the teleporting one. That's Calibron.
No, but yeah, Calibron. He's choosing to play Kraith when you could teleport. It's a teleport. It's cool.
Yeah.
Go from the shadows and go poof.
Yeah, nothing
so
personal,
cool.
kid, right? Teleport behind them, hit them with a katana. Yeah, it's beautiful. No, I think that what you're saying, Jared, is there's a lot of truth to it. Because no army stays on top forever. And if you get into an army because it wins, it won't be long before you need to find a different army. But like I think it kind of sucks when you accidentally get in on the army that's really good and you don't know it. Like if you get on Deok or Slaanesh or Night Haunt, or not Night Haunt, Legion of Nagash Splash Night Haunt for, the 60 Grimghast Reapers or whatever. Like if you accidentally end up on like the pain train, and you're just smashing people, it can be a real disservice to you if you don't understand the depth of the game and you kind of have that, like, you got shit on because people thought you were a meta chaser because you were playing the OP thing. You didn't learn the full breadth of the game because your army was kind of carrying you through some tactics that you didn't need to know. I think that can actually be a bad thing.
I had that happen when I was playing DOK, and I switched over to Slaanesh, and the Slaanesh got nerfed like fucking crazy, which we all can't deny. That happened.
Yeah, they're on the 6 nerf now, like the Hexa nerf.
I thought maybe I was just a good player. I'm like, oh, I'm just pretty good. And then like, oh, look, now my army just got smashed and shot the fuck off the board by this Skaven army my friend plays all the time that I used to kick their ass at. Cool. Yeah. Turns out I suck at this game. I just didn't have to worry about a lot of stuff beforehand.
Yeah. No, I mean, it can shoot. I mean, from learning the game tactically, it can be a problem. And then from just a morale, it can be a problem. When everyone, I call it the Nagash effect, where, I truly, people don't understand my favorite character in the game is Nagash. I love him so much I've made merch and shit, right? All I wanted to do, I waited. When I walked up to the table, I was 12-year-old Andrew again. Except instead of the clown mini, I had this really sweet, awesome centerpiece. And I was 12 all over again with all the excitement of a 12-year-old who bought the thing and finally gets to play it 23 years later or whatever. And then just ugh, you like that OP thing? I'm just like, fuck you. Fuck you. I will never forgive anybody that ever went Nagash to me, unironically, because it's become a gag now. But the fucking, just fuck you. Don't shit on people's fun. You don't know why people like what they like. You don't know why they're bringing an army to the table. Stop shitting on quote unquote meta chasers, because most people aren't that. Most people can't sustain that play style. Most people just, believe it or not, get into something on a whim. Some people get into it because it's the new thing. Some people get into it because they love it. Who knows? They're different, and you have no idea of knowing what's in their head when they walk up and they open up their army case and put out their model on the table. You have no way of knowing.
And on the adverse side of that too, if it's on the bottom of the tier, from a tournament standpoint or anything like that, and you're sitting across the table from I'm gonna say a Beast of Chaos army because they're terrible.
Fear them.
Fair.
You gotta make sure you're still playing hard against that army, because even someone with a Beast of Chaos army that learned them inside and out, knows what kind of creepy, sneaky tactics they can do, they can be nasty. I went through it with KO when KO was dog shit that no one liked, and it's an interesting loss when you lose to an army that you thought sucked. I'll put it that way. It's a very interesting feeling to lose against an army that you thought sucked ass.
Yeah, or the pressure when you're playing an OP army and you think well, I should win because I'm on the OP army, and then you lose.
Yeah,
what that does to your morale. The point I'm just trying to make here is it's not a complete take to say play what you love, because I can't job for a year straight in an army I love. I have to at some point catch a breather and go play something else. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't have that capacity. Halo Beastclaw Raiders for like 4 years when they were just bad the whole time. Now, on one hand, he's learned to play that army off the back foot like a fucking pro. Taking an army 3-2 when the highest anyone did in all of the LLV stats for the whole year was 3-2. It's like him, Brendan Melnick, probably Doom, like couple Masters level player in Australia. Like but there's a ceiling there, right? Like getting 4-1 was probably never going to happen because by the time you're looking at a 3-2 record, you're going to start playing the people who are as good as you, but they are on some of those top tier armies on those top tables, and they're as good as you, and they don't have they're not playing from the back foot. They're playing from a position of power. It's just it's hard to beat that unless you get absurdly lucky. But the point is like if you learn to play an army from like the back foot, like you're going to have such a deeper understanding when that wheel rotates around and the thing you love is on top again. Not every army ends back on top. Beast of Chaos had a good window there where it was essentially Zinch spam, right? Chaos and Lightning on discs, Beast of Chaos. But like most Beasts of Chaos players, like that wasn't the beast they wanted to play. They wanted to play Bestigors and Bulgors and fucking Gorgons and cockatrices. Like they want to play mythological monsters from the Greek mythology books they read growing up, made manifest in the mortal realms. That's what, speaking as one of them, this is what we want to play. I just want to play the shit from all those mythology books I read growing up. I want to play all that shit, like, cause it's cool. Like
you want to play the monster manual.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want to play I want to play the monster manual. That's what I want to play. I'm a GM. This is why I love this army. And like that, like I don't want to play the spam thing. Even on like my sort of like main build at the time, I had a 6-pack or a 9-pack of like Enlightened on disc, and then it was just like mostly Bestigors anyway. So, it's such a great Neapolitan art. Sorry, I'm getting on a Beast of Chaos tangent. There's a new one for your drinking game, Beast of Chaos tangents.
But with but back to the main point, playing what you love, like even like if you pick an army that's at the top, like I ended up doing it. It's important to remember too, like if your army's at the top and everybody's trying to play a friendly game, and you just wipe everybody out, you should probably rethink what you're bringing to every game because at some point nobody's going to want to play with you at your store. Come over. Like I had a friend, he liked to play Nurgle, and with all those wounds and against the Keeper of Secret at its peak, it didn't matter what he did. I'll just replace everything. And he ended up quit playing his Nurgle there for a while because like and that's his favorite army. And I like looking back, I feel really bad because I feel like I pushed him to that point where he's like, I'm just going to pick a new army right now because there's no reason to keep playing. Because I can't do anything. So, I mean, you can't always just play what you love because you might just be ruining everying the play experience for all.
I disagree.
All your friends in your group.
I disagree.
You disagree?
They need to get on my level. Screw you. Like I'm not gonna not play Ossiarch Bone Reapers because you have bad feelsies. No, I'm kidding. No, I get what you're saying.
I'm not even saying don't play the army, but like I probably should have stopped bringing 2 Keepers of Secrets.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm just being difficult. Yeah. No, I think that the playing what you love is a lot better than not, but it is an incomplete take because you don't want to end up on what you love being shit for like 3 calendar years. I don't know that I can handle that personally, and I don't think most people really can. Their experience of the game is going to be much different. Unless they 100% get enjoyment just from literally putting their models on the table and taking them off, like that's all they get maximum enjoyment from that, then cool. Play what you like, but you got to I think you got to kind of get to a point where you're like, okay, these are like the armies I love. What's the one that's like in that that sweet spot? You're not like the top tier, but like so you like people don't hate you, but you're not like basement tier waiting for a book. Unless the thing you unless you go into it knowing you're basement tier and it's going to be a long slog and you might not see a book for a while.
I play my Slaanesh because I only want mortal Slaanesh now. Like I was playing demons when I first came out. I was like, this isn't what I wanted. So I took all my Chaos Warriors and just put them in my Slaanesh army. And I took a Chaos Lord and made that my general. I have not done very well since then. It's been interesting.
Well, the overcorrective steer on the nerfs of Slaanesh are really, really bad. It was Go ahead.
I mean, like, I was refusing to use demons too. Like, I just wanted mortals. Like, this is how I'm gonna get my mortals. This is how I'm gonna play it.
Mm.
And it was shit, but I'm okay with that because I'm like, you know what? At least every win I get that I eventually do get, I got it with my mortal Slaanesh army.
And there is something to be said to be the best of the basement tier. You know,
There
that's
is
something to shoot for.
there's some cred there.
Hey, everyone goes 1 and 5. Or 1 and 4. I went 2 and 3. Like that can be a good motivational one to be like, look, I'm gonna be the one that's the best at the shit army.
Well, maybe the take here is, as I'm sort of talking to you and kind of working through my own opinion on this and refining it in real time here. Maybe the take here is just having the right expectations with what the army is you fall in love with. Mitigating your expectations is going to be a long way in not feeling a letdown. Like I said, for me, I need to feel like I can win with whatever I'm playing. That's why, like, Beasts of Chaos, as shit as they are, I always feel like I'm kind of in it to win it, because the way that army wins has nothing to do with the damage it does or takes. Like, it has nothing to do with that. Like, it just, you can do infinity damage, and like, okay, there goes that speed bump. Okay, 4 inches away from that is another row of them. Like, keep going, buddy. Like, kind of, like.
Oddly, that seems very fitting from what I know about Beasts of Chaos. It's like, they're just there. There's a tide of them.
But they're supposed to be a primal threat. You know, like if you got a Beasts of Chaos problem in the area, you got a real problem in the area, right? Like, this is the reason people started worshiping Chaos gods, because there was just a fucking Gorgon in the woods. Just one. Like,
so should they hit harder then? Or
they should have Daughters of Cain level glass cannon, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, they go, like, they've got the mobility in terms of, like,
just it's not like they have the bodies and the mobility that you'd expect, but it seems like it's not hitting as hard.
I think you can drop the amount of bodies they have too. Like, that feels like a natural trade-off. Like, they shouldn't have as many bodies in the long run. So point costs go up, but like then their force multipliers and their damage just needs to go up a lot. Their Gorgons, they need to make them a little bit more in line with like the Spirit of the Mountain and the Turtle now. They need to go up to like 360 points. Not the race to the bottom. They just need to hit like 400-point monsters, like absolute heinous, scary monsters that you're like, if that gets in on my thing, it's going to kill it. So I need to not let that attack me and like always be chaffing it because they can't fly. So it's a good trade-off to be, again, you can do infinite damage, but like you got to fight honest through it and then make them a little buff wagon. So like they're a buff wagon that like is just a blender. If this Gorgon makes it to the thing, like press F to pay respects, it's gone. Like that's how, and then like it gives a buff to like the gore. I think especially with gore, because gore don't really feel like they fit anywhere in that. Like have the gore, especially in like Best of Gore, really get like amped up by it.
I need to look
Best of Gore should have 2 wounds.
What's that? Yeah,
Best of Gore should have 2 wounds.
Yeah, Best of Gore should be.
Especially for a 32 mil base unit.
Yeah,
they need 2 wounds.
I actually currently like Best of Gore as like kind of as is, but make them 2 wounds. Don't change anything else. Boom, done.
Yeah.
It's like, weird that there weren't 2 if they're on 32s.
They're a 4-up.
Around me, so
they're a 4-up save. You end up a lot of times. What is it? Hitting on like 3s and 3s or 2s and 3s with some tricks. Rend 1, damage 1. So like you've got some tricks. You can get some extra attacks on them pretty handily. Like they're very versatile. They're pretty fast. They have a 4-inch pylon, which actually kind of helps with the 32 inches
nice.
too, which is.
I would definitely say 2 wounds, maybe popping 6s.
If
you really wanted to make them something like that, I think all the beastmen should like their rule across should be proccing 6s. 6s give bonus damage. Maybe for some of them it's bonus damage or not bonus damage, bonus attacks, or maybe like mortal wounds or something on the big dudes. But I think they need more into their outflanking and getting into the mobility aspect of it, and bigger dudes should have more wounds, and a higher damage output, kind of like how Ogres really got a nice damage output overall. Like all the Ogre weaponry, none of them are 1 damage. It's all at least like 2 or 3 damage each. You know, they might not hit that well, But like, if something gets through, it should fucking hurt.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and Hearthstone needs to go up to starting out at 12 inches. No reason it's 6 to start. It's just
It's stupid.
Yeah, I remember hearing. Yeah, that seemed weird.
Yeah, it should. I mean, it's cool. It's Rend. Like it's Rend 1. Like that's the thing about that army is like it's just picking up Rend on accident. Like it just dropped Rend and it can't be bothered to like lean over to pick up the Rend. But the thing is like Rend. Once you get enough of it, it doesn't matter. You know.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. You're on 5-up saves, and I have 3 Rend. Might as well,
Just take it.
Yeah, might as well have 2. Like, there's just a point.
You could easily have werewolves in that army.
Yes. Well, now you're speaking my language.
There we go.
I think they fit perfectly in that army. Werewolves 100% would be great in Beasts of Chaos.
Yeah.
Well,
not just the goatmen, but having more were stuff for like Skinwalker kind of things.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that Skinwalkers weren't really in Beasts of Chaos.
They were.
I feel like they were.
They were
chaos.
Genera chaos. Yeah, but like you could get them in there.
I was gonna say I feel like they're like.
Well, they
only should just be Beasts of Chaos because.
Well, yeah, like
fucking Beasts of Chaos.
Yeah, well, Beasts of Chaos should just be the monster manual, like we said. Like that's yep. It's just like it should just be the Dungeons and Dragons monster manual. I think that's awesome that way. So while we're wishlisting and woulda, coulda, shoulda-ing, some of the armies that we want to see in Age of Sigmar. We've been talking about the one a lot. Just
gnomes,
obviously.
Yeah,
We got
gnomes.
Destruction Gnomes, but the one we were talking about is
so cool.
yeah.
No mercy.
That's all I want now.
Yeah.
That's all I want now.
Yeah.
That's all that's needed.
Yeah, like I'll just go ahead and cross off Cosmic Horror here, which we were going to talk about.
I didn't know I wanted it so badly until we started talking about like this is
yeah, man.
This is everything we need.
Yeah.
It checks all the boxes.
Yeah. No, I mean
that would be a primal force that's just like beyond our understanding. A gnome with a gun. Fuck.
I want Destruction Elementals. Like I still want that. I want that.
Be cool. Yeah.
I want like a Primal Forces Destruction Elementals type thing.
Fire Slayers have that fucking magma prayer that's like an elemental, but Destruction doesn't have it. Yeah, they have what, a stupid looking rock monster?
Well, the Rogue Idol, but that's Forge World and who knows.
That thing is nasty too.
But I want Destruction Elementals, like Primal Forces type things with like a splash of God Beasts in it, like
I want Ragnaros up in there.
Like tamed God Beasts and like Ragnaros, from World of Warcraft. Like that's what I want. I want to see that. I want the reimagining of orcs to Iron Jaws are solid. Like Iron Jaws are freaking awesome. They're a 10 out of 10. This is an awesome army. But I want the Savage Orcs, the bone splitters. I want them just to get some new sculpts that live better in the realms. That's it. Like I mean, a lot of my wish list for some of the stuff is just new sculpts. Seraphon, just new sculpts. The lore's already there.
Yeah. Honestly, like with the orcs one, I would take like an upgrade sprue of just cool stuff to add.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, like
yeah.
You don't even need to go, okay, just give me an upgrade sprue type thing.
Yeah, with like Stormcast helmets and severed heads and and then like elementally stuff from the Mortal Realms. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Just give me stuff that puts it in Age of Sigmar. Because like I'm not gonna shit on the old world or anything like that, but like this like I want it to look like it's in Age of Sigmar. I want these models. We've got ranges that do, and we've got models that just simply don't, and get them all in those Mortal Realms. It's been 5 years now, going into our 6th year. Like it is time. This is the time. You've got a boatload of armies. We've got a couple more in the pipelines. You can't keep releasing new armies forever. At some point, you need to just like rotate and update the old existing armies, and then you need to expand and build onto the armies that feel incomplete, like Lumineth Realm Lords. I think we know we're going to get some more Bone Reaper stuff down the line. Like those Stormcast, you're always going to get new Stormcast. You're always going to get new Chaos stuff. Like
like in 40K, like this last year, the year before, they released upgrade sprues for Space Marines for different chapters. Like it's easily, and I bet I know those sold really well because they sold out at my game store real quick.
Yeah.
They could probably do the same thing with the orcs and the stormcat. Well, they already have upgrade screws for stormcats with different shields.
Yeah, I was going to say, and the shoulder pads and stuff they did for them, or the pauldrons.
Yeah.
Chaos they could probably do it for like just Slaves of Darkness, so they could like have marked units and actually have them marked. Fucking
man.
Go ahead.
Manzak here says orcs are now intellectuals, wear powdered wigs, and not smash with rock. So you're making a joke, but orcs in my Dungeons and Dragons like homebrew settings are always like heavily psychic, but not in the like they think paint it red so it should go faster. Like no, like Thrycreen and like the astral racist psychic. To where like they're all like monks like meditating and floating on rocks and stuff, and they're all deeply intelligent. They're just like they just have a primal like rage to them that they're always keeping in check, and then like but like my orcs are often supremely civilized. I usually reimagine them like freaking like samurai and shit, because I reimagine a lot of stuff like samurai. But
I would be okay with an order army of orcs like that.
like freaking orc samurai and like psychic monks and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like one of my favorite NPCs was like a literal like way of the fist like orc monk, and he was like I gave him some psychic warrior stuff, so he's just like punching crystalline psychic powers and stuff. He was awesome.
From Age of Sigmar is taking like the classic fantasies and doing a complete 180.
Yeah, twist it. KO is a fantastic. We talked about KO. KO is a fantastic, or taking it to its like inevitable crazy conclusion.
Yeah.
Because like just fast forward the timeline. What happens of 1,000 years of this species doing this, right? Skaven.
Where do they go?
Yeah, where do Skaven go if we go in a time machine and say, what does this look like in 30,000 years? Like where are like. It's been a lot of time between the world that was the Age of Myth. And we assume that there was sort of like a dark ages that occurred in the time of chaos, so that was like a reset, right?
Yeah.
But so cool. But even that was a thousand years ago. Like
Skaven would be thriving during the Age of Chaos too.
Yep.
They're a part of that.
Yeah.
There's a whole realm of metal. Why are they still holding up their goddamn cannons with planks of wood?
Because it's easier to makeshift wood than it is to makeshift metal.
They had thousands of years. They could have passed that down. Like
yeah, but you got magic, bud. It's
yeah,
everywhere.
It doesn't have to make sense. Yeah, it's true.
But I feel like they would have upgraded their stuff by now. That's another upgrade sphere they could have.
Go metal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heavy metal rats. I dig it.
Yeah.
No, so Kicker here and Heavy D6 saying I want to see some like some arthropods or some bug people. That's kind of where we're going with this, is like Tyranids exist in 40K, and I don't think the take that we need to make Age of Sigmar more like 40K or 40K more like Age of Sigmar, that's a red herring for me. It's not worth.
Yeah.
But there is a interesting design space for something that is like Tyranid like in especially the mortal realms. We know about god beasts, right? Yeah. Like this sort of like crazy stuff. We have an understanding of like primordial like spacefaring races with Seraphon. Like there's got to be some like under deep super evil ancient eldritch shit. What was here?
A threat to everything.
Right.
Not one particular faction or most factions, but all the factions.
Yeah.
What lives between the realms, like that kind of shit.
Oh yeah. What's in the blind eternities, as it's called, or like if the mortal realms are a layer cake, the cake, it's like 8 layers of cake. The cake is all of the mortal realms. Your Gur, your Akshi, etc. What's in the fucking frosting? Yeah. What's in the frosting between? Like that's what I want to know.
It's not even like in between. Like they're saying there's a whole bunch of different realms beyond the ones we even know. Like they could have a whole fucking realm to themselves.
Yeah.
Well, in between realm.
Yeah, I mean the 8 points is kind of an in between realm. Like there might be some other stuff, and the realms are infinite spanses. And the further you get to the edge, it's just like the pure primal.
Psychotic realms.
Yeah, this the primal stuff. Where's the primal stuff predators or whatever? Like
yeah.
Like what is they
living out there?
Like
right?
like there's got to be some weird Langolier shit like on the like just eating the primal stuff. like from Stephen King's short story called The Langoliers, adapted into an awesome, albeit bad graphics. Like the CG for the time wasn't even good for the time, but still
Solid Donald Sutherland.
Yeah, still a great fucking movie. Yeah, Donald Sutherland, right? Like he's like the prophetic voice or whatever, like talking to the character. It was a direct-to-TV movie or miniseries. It was awesome. I loved it. It was great. The short story is great too. In Skeleton Crew, I think. Stephen King short story anthology. Where are the crazy primal Langoliers at the edges of the galaxies, like eating shit? Where is that? Like we often talk about Cthulhu because it's like a Cthulhian is a very easy shorthand, but it could be bug people that eat primal energy and like they eat freaking the endless spells being here now has drawn them from the like infinite expanses into the mortal realms because normally they're just out here in the infinite expanse, but now they're like, ooh, this is delicious infinite expanse energy at the edge of the mortal realms. And then they look over there and they see a purple sun. And they're like, ooh, nom, nom, nom. And they like come in to like eat the ambient magic energies. And now that they're inside the mortal realms, they see that like there's fucking storm vaults and cities made out of magic. And now they're here and they're just trying to consume everything. Where is that? It could be...
Like they might want to eat flesh too. Like they've never had that before.
Oh yeah. I bet you a Stormcast is fucking delectable. Yeah. You know, like they're made out of lightning.
Like, strong magic user.
Yeah.
Boom. Like you're just.
Or like beings made from the endless spells.
Yeah.
Like if the what was it the Jaws, like the Jaws one,
Ravanax, Nash.
Ravanax, Nash, and Jaws. If that was part of a full monster.
Like I guess like the endless spells just pulling part of it into the realm.
Yeah.
And one day just pull the whole fucking monster. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially since that'd have been cool too. That'd have been
the purple sun as an actual being, like something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's just a whole bunch of those things just in a realm that they just get pulled over. This is like cannot remember what. There's a show where, like, I don't know, maybe Yu-Gi-Oh is the closest thing to it, where, like, they're actual fucking things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think there's, okay, you've got all the safe fantasy races and representation. As soon as we get vampires, all the, like, classic death tropes will be updated for Age of Sigmar for the most part. You'll have your, whatever Legion of Nagash 2.0 reprint is... to be like, you can still play classically necromantic stuff, skeletons and necromancers, so on and so forth, but we'll have our updated vampires, we'll have our updated skeletons, we've got our sweet ghosts, like, you have all the, like, sort of flavors of death relatively satisfied. Sorry, Tomb Kings.
Need a big monster.
The Black Coach needs to have, like, the hero keyword.
Yeah, I think they would have it with
big monster.
Oh, like a massive ghost dragon.
Something. Yeah. Like an Arcan size, even if it's not that huge, but like a bigger, like centerpiece style monster that isn't just Nagash.
Oh, there's
like the Black Coach is pretty nice for it.
The Black Coach is cool. I think maybe adding off to the Black Coach for it to be more characterful.
Tomb Kingstress demands satisfaction. I mean, you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. Yeah, I want to see, like, there's room to play to go crazier with Age of Sigmar, and I want to see some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I want that cocaine-fueled nightmare creature.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. Oh, yeah. Like, I've seen what your sculptors can do, kind of like painting, like working inside the box. Like, just give them a couple grams and tell them to, like, there are no limits here, right? Like,
get crazy with it.
Yeah, how many dicks do you want? Just make them that.
As a giant dick monster that shoots dicks out.
And now we've come all the way back around to the dick talk. So I love it.
So a friend of yours was talking about a dick monster shooting dicks, yes.
So I told him I was making a flesh knight, and it was my squig dude, and he said, bro, I thought you were making a mega gargan out of a fleshlight.
God.
Which
I already knew where that was going
when
you said flesh knight. I already knew where you were going. I didn't.
Yeah, I mean,
The rest
I
of the
feel
story
like
told itself.
size-wise could probably work if you like put the arms and legs of a Mega Gargant on a fleshlight. I feel like there's a conversion there.
Oh, imagine your
there
opponent's
is.
face when your model starts because you've done like a great job on the conversion, but it starts vibrating like on the table. Your opponent's just like, fucking hell.
I would concede.
Charge.
Oh.
I would concede like you deserve the win. It's all you.
Is shooting phase over? Are you done shooting? We're gonna charge.
Kernigget says still cheaper than actual Gargants. It's true.
Yep.
That's true. So I made an Aqua Teen Hunger Force reference earlier. Aqua Teen, like any one of the Moon Knights episodes, are on my top favorite. DJ P Pants, one of my favorites. And then like the I can't remember what the Fargate aliens are called. They're called something else. Those two episodes are great. But there are two absolute my favorite episodes, and one of them is Hand Banana. It's one is when Frylock moves out, and the final one is the Dickisode. And the legend has it that they found out that Dick wasn't censored. Okay, so you could say Dick a lot, but like there was a limit, like an arbitrary hard limit set to the amount of times you could say Dick before they they changed your. Whoa. Yeah. So there's a limit to how many times you could say it. And so they put in exactly that many in the Dickisode. And so this is the Dickisode of Rantcasts. I'm going to retitle it.
Yep.
But there's a scene in that. There's a scene in that when Mr. Wongburger is like when they're like talking to Mr. Wongburger and they're like, "Where do you think they are, Mr. Wongburger?" And he's like, "You don't think they're over there dicking around, do you?" Like,
I love that show so much.
it's the dumbest line, but it gets me every fucking time. He's like, "No, they're professional dick hunters. They crave dick, as we all do."
I need a Cthulhu army type thing, so I can make them into dicks.
No.
I will call it the dickening.
The dickening, yeah. Like the quickening, like you chop off the dick and you absorb its power, like in the Highlander.
Yeah.
Wait, so effectively you're making an army out of a hentai.
I mean, isn't that...
When I said Age of Sigmar needs more waifus, this is not what I meant.
Well, this is what you're getting now.
No.
Yep.
All kinds of
Hey,
cringe.
you can't always get what you want, but you get what you need.
I did just say that. I did.
Oh my god. I have so many ideas now for this. I need
tentacles, dicks, and a senpai.
I'll never be allowed to bring this army anywhere. I'll try to walk in like, yeah, get that out.
There's kids at these
tentacles.
There's kids at these tournaments. God damn.
Sir, I'm afraid you're bringing porn inside. We can't have that.
Oh man.
It's art. It's art.
It's
sir.
art. This
art.
This is high art. This is not pornography. This is art. I know it when I see it. That is art. That bone tithe nexus over there that's vibrating. Art. Yeah.
You didn't say bone right. It's bone. Drag it out a little bit.
Yeah, you gotta enunciate more, Mephisto.
Oh my! I forgot to correct you on saying Sigvald all night. Damn it!
Why? What was that?
There's a rule in my house ever since I got my model, the metal one, that you pronounce his name Sigvald. And anytime you say his name inside my house, you have to say it that way.
You have to pitch up, like you have to pitch up. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody says it that way.
Like with. Like freaking Haywo did the the Photoshop of the Ahiko like face being stepped on. Like fucking oh my god.
I retweeted that and asked him how he got a picture of me. That is me. That is me.
Hotspur.
I let that man choke me.
Hotspur art is hard. The bone vibe, the bone vibe nexus. This is a Slaanesh army, not a pile of sex toys. Same
thing, man. Same thing, man.
Sometimes
I'm not asking you. I'm not asking where you're collecting your bits from. That's all I'm saying.
Head kicker redeems 1,000 points to remind everyone that chat gang ain't nothing to mess with.
Oh, it ain't.
Oh man.
Talk about Slaanesh and not sex stuff, but somehow.
No, I'm just like, yeah, you know my favorite part about the new Slaanesh is it's not just all cringe sex stuff. Slaanesh episode number 2, all cringe sex stuff. The whole time. Just
I'm not a fan of it, but I mean, damn.
It's low-hanging fruit. Yeah.
And I'm always all about talking about some dicks too. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you got to be comfortable with yourself, you know. Like you gotta be. Yeah. Fucking hell.
It's hard not to.
It's so hard.
Oh no.
If it drags out too long, I mean, the skit can get a little flaccid, but
yeah. And after 4 hours of RantCast, you got to call a doctor.
I did doctor before taking. I don't know where we're going with this one.
All right. Anything else y'all want to talk about regarding army aesthetics? Why you like the armies you like, or some wish listing for Warhammer Age of Sigmar?
I feel like I've backpedaled on my original statements about not liking the over sexualization.
It's funny. It's funny. Yeah. You can't help it a couple times. Like, I'm obsessed with Catacross's cod piece. Like, you gotta... There's always that weird shit. Like, it's just a little too weird and a little sophomoric.
I mean, I'm 100% serious. That picture of Sigvald stepping on that stone, that's an uwu girl, is definitely me. I'd let that man step on me. That's a beautiful model.
That's a beautiful man. Yeah, no, he is. He is a beautiful man. Like, I love the Sigvald. We needed more JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fabulousness in Age of Sigmar. Like we just like
people comparing him to that. This has made me want to start watching that show, and I'm not sure if I should let my kids watch it with me or not.
No.
I don't.
It's not that bad.
It's not.
Yeah, they didn't get most of the jokes really.
Yeah, it's. I don't think it's too terrible. I'm going off the manga.
No.
I can't imagine it being too. Like, it's just like there's
I saw it on Toonami, and I remember as a kid, Toonami had some good anime, but I was like, also like,
it's hilarious because it's so shit.
It's mostly just violence, so it's like, you know, as your parent, what level of violence do you allow your kids to watch? And we've had to dial back the amount of violence I allow my kids to watch because, like, they've been like feisty lately, and it's like, dude, like, stop fighting. Yeah, like, no more Power Rangers now. Like, I regret letting you watch Power Rangers because now you're like, Dad, fight me. No, cut that shit out. I own my house now.
I'm paying for a fucking window.
Full circle. Look at that callback.
Full circle.
Fucking professional podcaster right here.
How do we do it?
You should bulk out Catacross's cod piece and see if anyone notices. Oh, I love this idea, man, Zach. I'm gonna do this. Just a little dollop of green stuff. You know, just a bit.
Oh, yeah.
You need to add some like every time you play, just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Each time
Each
you play.
kill.
Yeah. Add a little bit. See how big you get it.
I'm adding your general's skull to my cock.
Yes, Meph. Next charity stream, Sigvald tattoo. Right over your crotch area.
Well, I would have in November. I would have got the tattoo, by the way, right here for Nagash. But COVID-19. I actually talked to some of my tattoo artist friends, and they're like, "Yeah, wait until after, man." Like, they're just like, right now, don't risk it. I'm like, okay, cool, because like, whilst they're very sterile environments, you're still dealing with, you know, open wounds essentially. Yeah. So I'm like, all right, cool. So that had to be.
you don't know what their clients come in with. Like, it might be sterile, but like they could have gotten your tattoo artist sick, and then they're sitting over you tattooing you without knowing. Yeah, it's just.
Yeah.
I didn't get my tattoo finished up. I was like, I'll just wait.
Yeah. So
I wanted to do the same thing. I wanted to do like a half sleeve with the 3 gods, the Grimnir, Grungni, and Valaya.
That's cool.
Yeah. And your gnome.
No,
And gnomes, yes, gnomes between.
No, it's to be fair, I was always going to get like a tattoo at some point in my life. This just one forced my hand and like decided what it was and where it was. Like chat gang doing that. I don't know if I will do charity for another tattoo in the future. If I do, if it's Sigvald, it's got to be like, is it Sigvald or is it Alucard? All right, like it's Sigvald. I don't wonder.
Well, if it's on your ass, it's Sigvald.
It's true. No, Molly, when I told her about the one tattoo, she was like I got the death stare, from the significant other. She's just like, you agreed to do what? I'm like, don't worry. It's an amount of money that no one would ever possibly donate, $1,100. And she's like, and then we like shatter that in the first hour, and I'm like, well, okay, realistically, I'd have set it to $5,000. Like if I had a better understanding, and we still beat that with $7,000. So to answer your question, it's $10,000 to get a Sigvald tattoo.
Did you not know? Did you not remember me tweeting you? Because I know you brought it up on Twitter beforehand. Like, oh, this was like, I will drain my savings to make sure you get that tattoo.
Like that. I know. I don't.
Now I know how to get new tattoos. I gotta charity them.
No, I don't know. Well, I mean, it's paying on it.
Well, like, he put it on there like hesitantly, like, oh well, nobody's gonna do it. It's gonna be crazy.
I really didn't expect it.
Man.
I didn't.
No matter what number you put it at, if it's not reached by the end, I'm dumping everything in there.
This is why I don't think I can do tattoo again, because it's like, one, it's very permanent thing, and the other is like it's just.
It's not permanent. You'll be dead and it'll rot away.
That's true. That's fair. Yeah, that is true. No. No, I don't know. Like we're thinking up stuff because we got to get figuring out when to do the next charity thing. I didn't expect lockdown to go on as long as it did, and I didn't expect. And I know that doesn't seem like that would affect it, but it kind of has, because it's like it was this cool thing, and it ended up being like a nice lighthearted thing, and now it's like oh man, like I feel like there's so many other more bigger priorities for people in their lives that, and it's hard. It's hard to do a charity marathon, and but it's been on my mind because Haywo brought it up too. He's got he's going to share another death story if we make our goal. So he's got he's like, oh yeah, I can just, because he had his peanut story, and I'm like, the one about oysters is like about as good. So like he's got like an oyster one, like he's got like various death stories. It's like the times he's almost died eating stuff or doing stuff is.
He didn't stop eating things.
Like he's got one involving a chainsaw. Like, just let your mind wander. I think we'll have to do for the donation incentive for that one. It'll be like, if we hit this amount during this block, he'll like share a death story. And then like if we hit another amount, like maybe we could do a bidding wars on if you hear the chainsaw one or the oyster one.
That was hard. I wouldn't know how to pick.
Like, so I got to start thinking about incentives, and I mean the cause will be MHA again, because I mean when it comes to, especially fucking now, and I feel like I've been living in an alternate reality for 4 fucking years, and other people have finally stepped into my reality. I'm like, fucking, I thought I said all this shit 4 years ago, and like now you guys are catching on to it. But no, besides my pseudo-political takes, it's just like nerds, we're all nerds, we're all bonded by this greater nerdery, but the group is essentially made up almost 1,000% of like socially marginalized and or social minorities or veterans, and like you are 2 of them. Mars, you're both of them. You're both a nerd and a vet. Like and like these are like demographics that have mental health struggles, and in the case of veterans, it's like not okay to admit it. You got to, you were a man, you trained for this, right? Like, and then in the case of nerds, it's like you can't be annoying and talk about it, or people think you're. So mental health I just think it's something that hits our community pretty universally, and and it's a good cause. But how the fuck did I end up? I'm not even drinking that much. I had one glass of scotch and half a beer.
We've got a lot of bird walking tonight.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably more so than at least last week's.
You're welcome.
No, this is what RantCast is about. Like, I aspire to be more the the chill, conversational type thing. Like, there's so many other podcasts that do what they're doing way better than me. Why would I want to change who I am? Aluvald, yes, I like it.
I'd be down with that.
Yeah, no. Make several sizes with a magnetic crotch, and as you win, pop on the large one. This is the Catacross cod piece. I like it. Just this is the 3 and 2 cod piece. This is the 5 and 0 cod piece. Like, boom.
5 and 0 cod piece is the actual crotch goblin hanging out of him.
Yeah, it's just model like a tiny OBR skeleton,
Eventually, it's just the South Park cancer testicle that he's just riding on.
Is that the one where Stan's dad has balls so huge he puts them in the wheelbarrow?
Yeah. He's just riding it because that's the only way that he can fucking.
He can smoke marijuana. Yeah.
The ball cancer.
He rides it one of those bounce ball things. Yeah. That's my Catacross conversion. Got it. Well, I guess that's what we're doing. You know what? I have this Endrin thing from.
That's perfect.
It's just a ball. It's just a fist-sized ball.
It's a fist. Yeah.
Amazing.
Damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
You could have a whole army because your cavalry, like your Cavalos Death Riders, could just be Cavalos Ball Riders, and they're on the balls.
Yeah, that's what we need.
This is not what I meant when I was talking. Go ahead.
And it falls right back in with the dicks.
Yeah, no, this is the Dickisode. That's it now. This is not what I meant when I was talking about aesthetics in Age of Sigmar.
They bounce on the dick. They bounce on the balls and they grip the dick to ride it.
That's way too
See, I
detailed.
can't read right. So when you typed to me aesthetic, I thought you said testicle.
Oh, is
So
that?
I just assumed.
Yeah, no, that's what it was.
We're gonna be talking about the testicles of Age of Sigmar. I was like, okay, I'm in. This is perfect for me.
See, I forgot that South Park could be really funny because it became so it's so absurdist that it's it's so constantly absurdist. It's clear that it is protected speech. Like we've had, I had actually a highfalutin conversation about how South Park gets away with doing all the shit it does, because literally it's all they do. Whereas you have these people out there who have this slippery slope of telling jokes that are increasingly just disguising their hate, and it's how do you know? Because they test the water. And then they get a little bit more hateful, and they test the water, and they get a little bit. So how do you tell the difference between that and South Park? Because South Park makes Nazi jokes all the time. Because literally all they do is that kind of absurd, over-the-top shit to where nobody could ever take them seriously. They do it to everybody.
Yeah, we shit on everyone.
If they didn't say they were libertarians, you would have no idea what the fuck their political views are. You would have no idea because they shit on everything. At all times, on any they have one idea for a joke, and then they just go way too far with it, and they do it constantly.
That's what I like about them.
Yeah. No, I kind of agree with that, and like I said, I kind of forgot for a while there they were actually just fucking super funny until they did for me they did a little bit of the Family Guy thing where they just got too high on their own supply, and then at that point you're like but maybe they're great. I don't know. I haven't seen them fucking forever, but just that image of fucking Stan's dad with the fucking wheelbarrow. Oh God, Jesus. Sorry, Mars, I cut you off, man. What were you saying?
I stopped watching about 2 seasons ago, but that's mostly because I got my kids. I was like, I probably shouldn't be watching this with them right now. Yeah. I did get that that sense that they're kind of getting full of themselves. But I'm okay with that because they've been doing this for a while. I feel like they've earned that.
Yeah, and the original season they did it on freaking construction paper.
Yeah,
Like they did
they've
stop
come a
motion
long
with
way.
construction paper and stuff. So like there's actually even there's even like a kind of like coolness to that, early on, and the trope of killing Kenny every episode, and like there's some stuff out there. That was like really actually pretty cool.
Oh, Kenny, you bastard!
Yeah. No, my favorite part is still like they did the South Park movie, and the little boy you're going to hell song is just fucking hilarious to me. Little boy, you're going to hell. Like it just like it rocks out. I'm like, what? Like, like. Sorry, I forgot that when I stopped being a pretentious asshole about everything, I could have fun, and that was one of our themes of the episode tonight. So anything we need to cover? Talking about Dick's aesthetics, armies, anything
Aesthetic.
the Dick aesthetic of your next army, yeah, whatever that is.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of dicks. That's what I know.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. All right.
Oh, Sigvold's floating down, set, and what lines the little pathway are dick flowers.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm 1,000% in.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Jared, anything you want to shout out or put on blast? Any final rants or soapbox moments?
Hashtag no mercy, obviously.
Right.
Is this going to be an important one now?
Yeah.
Also, listen to the 0-5 podcast. We do once a month podcasts, and it's never serious, and it's typically bullshit. So
yeah,
that's my
like
plug.
tonight.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's very similar to this. Yeah, they're even less censored than me. No, I can't. You guys got to have me on your podcast so I can ruin your
100%.
show. Like,
would love to have you guys on.
Like,
Absolutely.
like
We'll have them on the next one or something.
Mephisto Unleashed. I have to keep it pretty tame when I'm a host, but like when I'm on someone else's show, this is Mephisto gone wild. Like I'm in Cancun. I'm not wearing a shirt. Like I'm ready to go.
That's what our podcast ends up being. We bring out the weirdest in people. Like we had Joe Pagano on from Rage of Sigmar, and he just started giving one of our guys like parenting advice for like 45 minutes. It was great. It was great. We had Marty on. We had Marty on, and it was an entire episode of him attempting to explain the Lumineth Battle Tome while we shit on him the whole time. It was like a roast of Marty, and he didn't realize it was supposed to be that. He's like, "Oh, we're gonna have you on to talk about the Battle Tome." Oh, okay.
That's kind of mean.
No.
That's kind of.
Yeah. Sure, Marty has his own theme music on our podcast, so he knows we love him.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Anything? Is that it? That's it. Watch the Owen 5 or listen to the Owen 5 podcast anywhere you download your favorite podcasts.
Yeah, we're on Spotify. That's the big one that's easiest to access right now. So
right on.
I didn't get my Joe Rogan deal, but we're working on it.
Yeah, but he's thought cancer, so it's all right. Mars.
Yeah, I got something. There's this one person on Instagram that commented on one of my things that says, oh my God, what have you done to your brushes? I asked him, what does he mean? And he never fucking replied. And I know you're watching this, and I want you to tell me what I did to my brushes, because it is eating me alive. I don't know what I did. They look normal. What is wrong with it?
Can you show us your brushes? I need to know this now.
What's wrong with it? What's wrong with my brush?
There's nothing wrong with your brush.
Right?
Was this just the epic troll of the century? Like they just
eating at me. I'm like, what did I do wrong? Do I not paint correctly? What happened? I have two comments. Wow. What's wrong with my brush? Did I get a reply? No.
Oh, like they don't want to see my brushes. This has become a dry brush here. This is actually my regular brush I use. You can see that nice little. It's like a fan, one of those cool fan brushes, you use. Like, yeah, that's the good shit. Here we go. Here's the GW brand ones. How well I've taken care of them. Yep.
Oh wow, yeah,
that's some good shit. This is great audio right now. This is my attempt at buying a what is it? The Oh no, Master Synthetic here.
So if they look like that would make sense. But I don't.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know what I did. I want to know if I fucked up. Let me know. Give me some feedback I can improve on.
Dude, this is the greatest thought worm I think I've heard in a while. I just need to do this from now on to random people when they paint.
Yeah, I know.
That's gonna be my comment to everyone's painted model. Yo, what did you do to your fucking brushes?
Oh, that's a great looking model. But what's up with your brush?
Yeah. What, am I holding it wrong?
Dude, what if that's like the new pickup line? By the way, I heard the most hilarious pickup line in my life that is so American, it's ridiculous.
Okay, go on.
It's very crude, if that's all right.
As long as it's not bigoted in any of the slurry or bigot. No slurs or no bigot. Okay.
Not in the slur.
I mean, obviously, like I just let you guys go to town on Dick tonight, but yeah.
You go up to someone and you say, "Are you a school?" Because I want to shoot some kids in you.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
You're welcome.
It only works in America.
Oh no. Why? That's like the third worst thing I've ever heard.
I heard it on TikTok and it was the most exciting thing I've ever heard, I think.
Oh my God, I just lost so many subscribers over that one. Oh.
We'll just gift them a sub again so they have to come back.
That's the 0-5 podcast on Spotify.
No, this is me tipping the hat to you, sir. Well played. Brilliant self-promotion on the backs of that joke there. So Mars, if people...
You open up that door like them.
You gotta open it up.
No.
You gotta sell that product.
Fucking... This... So Mars, you're starting to throw your hat into the content creator ring, where you will be giving people pickup advice and really good
pickup advice.
Yeah, really good pickup advice. So Takeovermars on YouTube is where they can see your stuff. What can they expect from your show going forward? Because you've got the one episode up now.
I was gonna do some lore stuff, but a lot of this rambling type thing that you get from the RantCast, but
I love that my influence is growing, and like I am slowly co-opting, like the highbrow, really good content where they do like proper Battletome analysis and stuff like that. It's like me, 0-5, and Rage of Sigmar are just like ruining content. Like no, and like you're like, oh yeah, I want to do do shows like Vince. No, do them like Meph. Like.
That first video I was doing it, I was like, I'm gonna try to make it sound professional in that first video. And like halfway through recording, like, this sounds like shit.
It's
not fun for me.
You got to do it your way.
Into it.
Yeah, you got to do it your way, and that's the main thing. There's yeah.
So I just sounded so bored, and it just sounded boring. I'm like, nah, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with my rambling idea. I don't care if people don't like it. I'm going to do it for me now.
Yeah, do it. Well, I mean, think about like Drunk History, right? Like how that's like a stream of consciousness, like little 30-minute episode, and they're just kind of essentially rambling through it while there's like a stage acting. I mean, that almost kind of reminded me a little bit, without the drunkenness. That actually kind of reminded me of like your sort of first video. There's this sort of like meandering delivery of like a sort of a woven story. And then, there's just like sort of like some eye candy on the screen to go with it. So like, I think that's a cool style, and I don't think it's like
kind of where I want to go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's 1,000% tapped out. Like man reads book, or like people going through the exact rules of a battle tome. That is every podcast. So you want to put your identity and your spin in there and be you and have fun. That's really it. Dear viewer, dear chat gang. I don't view content creation as competition. I think it is collaboration, because Mars will make a video here. I'll watch it, and it will inspire me to say something on the show. The Owens come on here and just talk about dicks for 3 hours. Like, whatever it is, there is a give take, a back and forth between like the content creators. It's such a close knit community. If you're thinking about doing it, just fucking do it. Just do it. I talk literally for 3 hours with almost no production. It's not hard. If you have an idea or you want to do something good, just do the thing. And Mars, you're doing the thing.
At the very least, us stupid shits are gonna listen to it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. At least to hear if like you talk about me at all, because like right now, no. The saddest part for me for doing content is I don't listen to as much as I used to. Like the longer I've done my show, the more I don't listen to as many shows anymore. I have like a couple that I listen to now. Like I listen to Cubic Shenanigans pretty constantly. I listen to Ian and Richie's when they come out with stuff. Clint just started up Heralds of War again, so I'm going to check out that episode because
that's awesome.
Clint is awesome and just one of the sort of like blue bloods I think of content creation. I catch Vince when I can, but like he's a live show, and like for me the live show appeal is being in chat gang, hanging out, like talking to people who are there with you, and like if it's a topic I really really want to hear, I'll go back and listen to the VOD or whatever. But I understand I do a live show, and I understand the hang-ups of doing a live show, and it's hard to stay on top of content when you're like, okay, every week I have to fucking have another topic. Early on, it felt easy. In quarantine, it's like there's fucking no releases. There's nothing to even pretend to talk about at first so that I can do my RantCast thing. Tonight I'm like, oh yeah, I knew tonight was just going to be this. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, we have to pretend I've got a topic. What's our topic I'm going to pretend we have so we can just do this? Like, those are harder to come by now. And so it's like I can't even pretend to, like, there's something for clickbait, like, oh, this is the Lumineth Realm Lord episode, and they click it and they like get 30 minutes of me talking about Lumineth Realm Lords and then just 3 hours of joking about shit. Like, I like that. But it's so hard now, and I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hope this episode that we could just talk about dicks for 3 hours.
Apparently,
really
apparently, no. I'm
might
sure.
Be a market for it now.
I think I'm gonna get roasted.
Dick.
I think this is gonna be the most roasted episode I've released in a long time. It's like shit talking orcs will get you roasted. Shit talking. Talking about how much you love whatever the OP army is at the time, whatever if like just pick the army be a Seraphon sympathizer right now, like you'll get roasted. Like so, like there's a couple of ways to like get roasted the hardest, and one of them is probably whatever we did tonight. So I'm looking forward to the comments on YouTube. So if you're watching this back on YouTube, be sure to leave a comment down below, hit like and subscribe on the video.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Don't try to act like you didn't like it.
Yeah. So yeah, Mars.
Best dick content.
Yeah. No, this is as close as you're going to get to Warhammer OnlyFans until Coach starts up his Only Beards, a side shoot of OnlyFans channel.
He's really dragging his feet on that too.
The beard calendar of Age of Sigmar when Halo is the centerpiece. Like, there's so many great beards in this. Like sell it for charity. We'll pick an organization that's international, like I don't know, like Doctors Without Borders or something like that. Sell the calendar for charity. We'll sell 4 of them, but it will be great. The beard
too. Like I don't.
Heavy D6 Seraphon, they hate us because they ain't us. On the flip side, I think that I think that I have such a reasonable fan base. I think Chat Gang's as awesome as Chat Gang is because I do talk about OP shit that's awesome, and like I don't shy away from like being like, hey, this is awesome right now. And, like, if you love it, you're in it for the long haul, so, like, fuck the haters. Like, and I think that passion, because I've always been about the passion. The passion is what I care about. Like, the passion for Dick, the passion for models, the passion, whatever it is. Like, because I may not understand.
Models.
Yeah, I may not understand what you love, but I understand that.
Dick.
But I know Dick. But I know what passion looks like, and that's what I respect. Mars, any final closing thoughts? I feel like I took your soapbox out from underneath you there for a minute.
No, I mean I got out what I needed to say because they got the message now and they're gonna come and tell me.
Yeah, what's wrong with your brushes?
Yeah, and if they don't, I'm gonna be back on here. I'm gonna jump in next week at the end.
Yeah.
And do this all over again.
Yeah.
What's wrong with my goddamn brushes?
Amazing.
Yeah, this time I won't be angry. I'll be sobbing with my brushes in my hand, begging.
Yeah, you've got all this like these wall hangings, like they'll be like covered up with pictures, like Charlie from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and like you'll have like and you'll have pictures of your brushes with like freaking yarn between them, and you're like, look at the brush in this picture, and you'll like go full Charlie.
Yeah. PowerPoint going through it all. This is how I held it. Ooh. What's wrong with this?
Ooh, the Vince Venturella like PowerPoint, you'll bust it out like. That's when you know it's spicy. You bust out the PowerPoint, that's when you know it's cereal. All right.
Years from now, I'll still be going on about this.
The brushes, yeah, no, I get it. This is clearly haunting you. Oh man, this was a great episode. This is like the utter flip side of last week. Where, like, don't get me wrong, last week was great, but last week was like all business and serious, and you know, Haywo was on, so it's gonna be fucking funny because he's just got that deadpan. But I feel
like we were pretty serious at the start.
We tried so hard. It was
and got so far.
But in the end, it doesn't. Oh, rip Chester, buddy. You lost the battle with depression. Oh, way to fucking bring me down at the end, dude. All right.
I am mayhem.
We'll always have the
chaos.
Yeah, right. We'll always have Rantcast 81 and the Dicks. That brought us together.
The Dickisode.
Yeah, the Dickisode. All right, chat gang, you are the show within the show. You're the reason we do this thing. Remember to drink your milk, pay your taxes, and I will see you next week. Good night, gentlemen. Thanks for hanging out with me.
Thanks for having us.
See you guys. Thank you.